What's up, fellas? What's going on? I'm early instead of late for a change. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to talking with you guys. I gotta say though, I personally didn't get anything, didn't buy anything, and I wasn't selling. So I don't really have anything to really talk about, but I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys experienced this weekend. And as such, I know there's not many people here, but I guess I'll trickle in later. But for anybody who is here now, just so you know, anybody who wants to jump in and out, I'm going to try something different today. If anybody wants to give their feedback as to what they thought about the show, say anything, whatever you want to talk about, just go into the description below and you will find the key to the studio. And you can jump in and verbally speak about it if you want to. All right. And yeah, let me just jump in here. I'm going to go to my other browser. I'm going to see if I'm going to see what it's like to chat with you guys from directly on YouTube. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Oh yeah, but then if I'm watching from YouTube, then I can't highlight anything. So that doesn't really make much sense. So yeah. Let me pop in back into the StreamYard studio. And Mr. Redjack, I don't know if you're still here or not, but have a good night. I hope you have a good shift. Don't work too hard. Ending to work soon, as always. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, this is what we all want to find out from all of you. What did you guys pick up, if anything? And yeah, Mr. Redjock's booth was rocking. So he sold ultimately 7 out of 23 pieces. Talking with 2 other potential sales. That's a good sell-through percentage, Brian. You're talking over 30%. That's over 30% sell-through percentage just on the 7 pieces. So if you can close the other 2, goes even higher. So yeah, might as well wait a little after the show. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Marcus. Say what's up, Rickster. Good evening to you. And hey, what's good, TJ? Evening to you. Men and women at sea. Who are those? There are men and women at sea. Are you celebrating men and women at sea? For any particular reason, TJ? I don't know. My darling wife, thank you so much as always. Appreciate you. Let me see. Evening. What's up, CJ? How you doing? Hope you're all art satiated. CJ. Yes, and in two days, it's Vivian's birthday. Please help me in giving her a little applause. She's still on the right side of 50, so she's still happy about that. So that's a good thing. We're gonna go celebrate it tomorrow because tomorrow's a day off for us here. Just go have some lunch, I guess. Gonna try some El Salvadorian place. And let's see, hellos back and forth. Hello. Hey, what's good, Antoine? Good to see you. Nita Poloniki B. Nah, that's awful. I'm not a fan of the super late starts there. What's good, Tom? What's good? What can I say? Tried for 2 in the exhibitor hall and failed twice. What do you mean you tried for 2 though? What does that mean? You tried for 2? No, there was a lot of art on sale. I mean, for sale, not on sale. For sale, TJ, on CAFs, as you know. Peter, what's up? Good to see you. JT's back. Hey, what's up, JT? Thank you for dropping by. And you're very welcome, of course. Of course. You know I do that always for you. And there you go. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate that. You as well. Rick and CJ, thank you. And oh, everybody now. There you go. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Very sweet. Marcus won't give you the birthday. He'll just give you the birthday cakes. Look at that. Three chocolate cakes. Sweet. Appreciate that. And Marvin Uloa. It's been a minute. Wow, it's been a long time, actually. Nothing better than pupusa. Look at that. And so here's the thing, Marvin. So Vivi and I, we've never tried El Salvadorian food. Our daughter, Arwen, just tried it recently, 2 days ago, or yesterday, I think it was. And then she liked it so much, she went back again today. And well, actually, Vivian tried it because she's the one who went with Arwen yesterday, I believe it was. And yeah, and then Arwen went back today by herself. And that's what she's talking about, Marvin, the pupusas. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll go tomorrow, have some lunch, and see how it goes. I mean, Monday is not exactly a good day for going out to restaurants. It's like the worst day of the week. Hopefully there'll be some freshness to the food. Shit, hopefully they're open now that I think about it. A lot of restaurants close Mondays and Tuesdays rather than the weekend, right? Yes, la pupusa. But I'm seeing here, guys, let me know, is there anything, have you guys seen anything wrong with either my video or my audio? And I asked you because I am getting that StreamYard notification telling me that my signal is weak. I just started, so that's not a good thing. I had 1 out of 3 bars. Now it's up to 2 all of a sudden, and now it's normal. Okay. Anyways, let me know if there's any issues. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Video, audio, fine. Okay, great. Hey, what's good, John Brown? Good to see you. Yeah, so I gotta say, let me tell you let me tell you guys my experience, which again, it's not much to tell. I'm really kind of banking on you guys telling me stuff. Scotty, been a minute. What's good, brother? Maki Poo-Poo. How's it going, Michael? Yeah, so what I was saying was that so for me, yeah, I kind of had the same experience that my last, I don't know, 4, I want to say 3 or 4 comic art lives have been like, which is that, I haven't been selling, so no selling for me, and not finding anything to buy. Some of you might remember 6 months ago, I technically bought 3 Grommet pages from Secret Origins featuring the Clayface 3 appearance, but you might also remember I can't credit the online convention for me finding those pages because Duke Fleed offered them to me. It was him who I bought them from during the show, yes, but he had offered them to me 5 days earlier. And I just told him, price them up, put them up, and then I'll see when the show starts. I'll see if I buy them. So I can't really credit the show for that. So other than that, yeah, I did my searches, all the searches I typically do. Didn't really find anything of interest. I gotta admit, I was done with my searches in 20 minutes. And there's a nice Michael. Happy birthday, Vivian, from Michael. From Maki Poo-Poo saying happy birthday to you, Vivian, if you haven't seen that. Look at that. Mike's here. NSN art. 8 for 48, baby. So that's actually decent. That's decent. That's 16, 15, 16%. For like an art drop, that's kind of standard. You know, not great, but that's not bad. You know, so yeah, that's actually, with all the competition, that's actually pretty good, Mike. So yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm glad to hear that. It's Salvadoran Vice, El Salvadoran. El Salvador, the country. El Salvadorans is the adjective or the people of the country. There's no I in it. I thought they added the I when it, okay. El Salvadoran. El Salvadoran. Thank you, Peter. Rick says, if I had a $55,000 and 55 in a shoebox, I'd buy that Return of the Jedi page. Interesting, Rick, that you say that, because I was looking at one point, after I did my searches and I didn't find anything to buy, I did what I usually do, which is I just check everything, starting with the most expensive stuff. And I don't remember seeing a Return of the Jedi page in that high end level of stuff near the top. So that's interesting. I'm assuming you're talking about an Al Williamson page. And was it a panel page or a splash page for 55K? Hopefully it's a splash page for 55K. Shut out. Scotty, you got shut out. No sales or purchases. Sorry to hear that about the sales. You know, it's never a bad thing if you don't spend money. I that's my kind of motto, you know. But yeah, kind of always sucks when you put the work in to post stuff for sale and then you don't sell anything, you know. Best Buy to the show. We're in. Yeah, I noticed those, Marcus. I noticed Stephen Lee. I noticed he had some really nice pieces. Yeah, that great golden Avengers annual page. Yeah, and he had some other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember thinking, oh yeah, those are nice pieces too. So I was like, wow, Stephen Lee again and again and again. So yeah, he had some pretty nice stuff. But Marcus, what did you think about, speaking of our, local friends here, Brian, right, Mr. Red Jack? What did you think about his prices? Because you know what I said, the first time he tried selling. I got to tell you, once again, Brian, if you catch this on Rewind, or if you're still here by some chance, you told me last time that you did your research. I can only accept you at face value. But when I saw that $1,200 double-page splash from All-Star Squadron sold, I did this. I was just like, because to me, that seemed really cheap. I don't know. Yeah, that seems cheap to me. So I don't know what to say, man. I really haven't seen anything that grabbed me and had to make an offer on. As I say, TJ, never a bad thing to just save the money instead of spend it. I lived there. Oh, you were there. Interesting. Kind of a big deal for those. Oh no, listen, I do not like misspeaking that way. Believe me. I ask anybody here, Peter. I'm very, very, very strict about that kind of stuff. So I actually want to be corrected if I make a mistake. Absolutely. So I thank you. And apologies to the El Salvadorans out there. And one lowball offer. Yeah, that sucks. And it's almost like adding insult to injury, right, Scott? And when that happens, that's what I hate. At least that's what it feels like to me, There seems considerate. Really, Michael? Really? Wow. That's something I wanted to talk to you guys about, to be honest. I really feel the opposite of what Maki Pupu was saying. I have long since, especially ever since it changed and the sellers were allowed to go from 24 pieces to 48, I feel overall it's very overwhelming. My feeling as a customer, as a collector, as a potential buyer, I feel the weekend is very, very overwhelming. That's the best word I can think of. What's up, Steve? What's good? Yeah, I feel it really. Oh, a Vader panel page. Well, it better have been super beautiful for that price. Yes, or Salvador. But isn't that that's what I said? Salvadorian. That's what I said. I'd put the I in. So which one is it? Confusion. Thanks to Mr. Red Jack, I made out with a Starland splash. Nice. You bought from Brian. That's nice. That's cool. Hey, congrats. Love that Aragonés Rude page. I did not see that. But you know what? Guys? It's too bad I can't copy and see. It sucks. I can't copy paste your comments because here. Let me do this. I'm gonna share my screen for a second here. There we go. All right, you see this? I prepped it just in case you guys started naming things, right? So Aragonés, Rude. But you need to tell me if it was for sale or sold. Let me just try it like this. Okay, for sale, that means it must be sold. Oops, not on hold. Oh, so it is on hold. From Stephen Lee. Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah, it's beauty. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. Woo! So cool. Fantastic. Funny, I don't know how I missed it, Marcus. I think I was just caught up with seeing what he was selling. Just, those are the things that were catching my eye, the things that were selling. Things were already marked sold, and I think I maybe just didn't stop to look at everything else he had. But that's gorgeous. Yeah, that's absolutely stunning. $750 too. To me, that's a bargain for such a cool page. That's really, really cool. And what else? Let's do the Williamson Jedi. I think this one will be sold. No? Or is it? Oh, of course, no. 55,000. It's still, of course, available. Let's check this out. Oh, yeah. Let's check it out. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's a beauty, man. Holy shit. Wow. Look at the inks there, everyone. Holy smokes. That's gorgeous. It looks familiar. Is it possible that this was once shown off by Dino? I'm getting a feeling that this was a Dino piece once, perhaps. Not sure. But yeah. Gorgeous stuff. Gorgeous stuff. Let's see. Let's get back here. And let me pop back into here to you guys. Good prices for DC stuff, though. No problem with DC stuff. What's up with that? Wow, Tom, a lot of good deals, huh? Mr. Red Jack always seems motivated. Yeah. What's up, Corey? I didn't have much hit my saved searches. Yeah, what did was way out of my price range. Oh, it's not fun to hear. Not El Salvadoran. It's without the L. I get it. Yeah, the Salvadoran or Salvadorian. Right. No, yeah. Thank you, Peter. It's a lot of art. Yeah, keyword searches are a must. I only found one page in my wheelhouse, but the price was not in my wheelhouse. Got you. Top sellers TMNT video. I know. I noticed that. Not like an hour ago. That was wild, man. 35K. Yeah. You didn't just visit Grummet. No. I did a bunch of searches, as I always do. I did my saved searches, and then I tried remembering, some other searches. Wait, what was a great price? What was a great price? Oh, you mean the $750 for the root page? Is that what you mean? Because if so, yeah, that it seems kind of cheap, doesn't it? Marcus got the best piece on the sale last night. Last night? Oh yeah, yesterday. I blamed a drink in my hand. Couldn't type out. He bought something from you, Corey. Yeah. Oh, lost out on the rude. Yeah, no Blade Runner. That's a shame. Shame for me, I guess. Yeah, it was a great Vader, right? Holy crap. I love the Sim Cerebus 20-page. Mind Games is Monty's Gallery. Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, Jason, what's good, buddy? What's happening? Hey, Jason or Lee. Good evening to you, my friend. Alex, what's up with that? Hey, so let me tell you guys again. I mentioned it before all you guys came in. Any of you who want to, I'm doing something different tonight in the sense that if you look in the description of this video right below, there's the link to the studio. So nobody has to feel obligated to come in and hang out for the duration of the show. But if any of you would like to join me, for a few minutes, as long as you want, as briefly as you want, pop in, pop out, whatever. The link to the studio is in the chat. Sorry, not the chat, in the description. So I'd love to have anybody who would like to. It's so weird to not hear another voice in here. So I'd love to have any of you just drop in, and like I said, for as long or as short as you want to make it. You're welcome, any of you. I bought from live sales only. Live sales only. Live sales. They were doing live sales? Okay, no, it was a Phantasm on Bill's next comic art sale show. Okay, confusing. Hi, Jason from Vivian. Nikki B had the biggest prices. Biggest pieces or the biggest prices? I think you mean the biggest prices. Nick prices of stuff to keep. Nice. Nice. Hey, only 600,000 and change for an Adam story. YouTube shows are the live sales. Right. Got you. All right. Jason and Lee, who don't want to pop in. I won't hold it against you. But yeah, so what I was saying earlier, or hey, Mike, NSN Art, you can pop in if you want. So what I was saying was that, so I did my saved searches came in and, nothing of interest. And then I tried thinking of other searches. Oh, Lee's coming in. Lee's wanting to join, but Lee, there's some kind of a connection. Device not connected, it says. So I don't know what's going on, but something says device is not connected. So you have to try something else. So yeah, so then I did some extra searches and it didn't really bring up anything. I will say there was one piece I did miss out. I would have loved to have had, and that was Steve Lipsky. Steve Lipsky had a really nice, say, what's happening, Lee? Steve Lipsky had a really nice Jerry Ordway page, a fantastic content quality Jerry Ordway page from Infinite Crisis. $650. I would have taken it, but it was sold already. Yeah, so that was that. TJ, you're saying that there was a Plug storyboard for Supergirl that was affordable. Now, up my alley, but this guy could have been up his alley. I'm not sure if he would have been into that kind of a Supergirl type illustration. Evening to you, Mickey. Mickey, as I told everybody, feel free if you want to pop in for as long as or as briefly as you'd like to. I would welcome the company. You can come in and out. You can click the link. The link is in the description. Look at that. Look at that. My good friend who I haven't seen in forever, live at least. And who looks like he has a broken hand. What's up with you, brother?
Oh, it's not that dramatic. It's just carpal tunnel bothering the heck out of me.
Oh, okay. That sucks though. Yeah, that's annoying. It's like a shitty nagging thing, right? Like
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah,
Hey, Lee.
Jason, what's up?
had a busy weekend. Lee, were you? I'm assuming you worked Friday, Lee. You're usually working Fridays.
Yeah. I worked Friday. I work every Friday, so I miss.
Okay, and
I miss Nick's show every Friday. I'm like,
But were you free? Were you free for the weekend?
actually, so yesterday I had a concert, so I went to Cool World. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mentioned that in my sales, and I got back to somebody kind of late, but they still made a purchase, and I made a purchase before I left, actually. So I found something that I liked, and I was like, I hadn't even sold anything yet. I'm like, shit, I'm already buying something. I haven't even sold anything yet.
And how about you, Jason? Did you try to sell anything?
No, I didn't try to sell anything, and I looked a little bit. Nothing that really I had to have. Okay. And right now, I'm trying to. I have no war chest right now, so I'm trying to. If I'm going to buy something, it's really got to be something I really want to have.
So I didn't catch that. What did you say about work?
Oh, I said I have no real war chest right now. I don't have
a war chest. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a big, reserve to just spend on stuff. So it's got to be something I really, really want.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So what I was saying earlier was I had done my searches. I didn't find anything. I did that. I did have the one piece I was just mentioning from Jerry Ordway, Infinite Crisis, from Steve Lipsky for $650. That would have been a nice, affordable purchase for me. Beautiful page too, but it was sold already. But I will admit, I was up really late on Friday night. I usually am. But later than I would normally stay up before a CAF Live. And in the end, I was just like, you know what? There's no way I'm going to go to bed now and set my alarm so I can wake up in 4 hours to start looking at the CAF Live stuff, right? So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, what are the odds that I'm going to have something that I really, really want or feel that I have to have? It doesn't usually happen. So I said, screw it. I slept in. And yeah. So by the time I tuned in, it was already, I don't know, open for 3.5 hours or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And so that one page that I would have liked to have had, it was already sold or whatever. But yeah, so that's not a big loss. You know what I mean? Like for me I'm glad I slept in the end,
right.
because of that,
Right.
But I wanted to say, because I want to get your guys' opinion. So I was saying earlier how I feel, I've been feeling this for a long time. I feel when I attend the convention, like early on in the first few editions, I really liked it. But ever since they went to doubling the amount of available art that you're allowed to sell, to list for as a seller, I have been feeling very overwhelmed. Like I feel like every weekend Comic Art Live is super overwhelming because once I've done my regular searches, then it's kind of like, well, I can't think of anything else. What else would I like? So I can't think of it off the top of my head. So I feel like I have no other choice but to just go through all the art, you know. Yeah. So I just kind of just start either by, high price or by the low price. And I just start going page by page by page by page. But as you know, there's like 5,000 pieces,
You do that just because you're curious, or are you doing that because you really think there's going to be something you're going to miss?
Yeah, the latter.
Mm.
Well, not because I think there's going to be, more because just in case there's something I might miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because sure, the saved searches I have, yes, those are the kind of like the main things that I kind of focus on. So anything that's not part of my search is what you would call a squirrel, right?
Right.
And there are many, 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 many squirrels I'd be willing to buy if I saw them, if they came up for sale. I just can never think of them. It's the kind of thing you have to see. It's like, oh shit, look at that. Oh, that's awesome. I'd buy that. That kind of feeling, right? And that's the thing. So that's why I feel obligated to start, just going page after page. But it's like it's so time consuming, and it's like, I feel I couldn't in previous editions. I did go all the way till I saw everything, you know. In this case, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I can't. I got to like a certain, I think there was like 68 total pages worth of art. I think I got to the first 30, I believe it was. Yeah, I got to the first, and then that was hours. I was like, okay, I can't.
That's Lee's clock.
Yeah, sorry, that's right there. Like right back there. That's this
That's
is
right.
my aunt's house, and there's so many things to get used to here between the noise of that thing, and that goes off like every 15 minutes. So it's
shit,
it's right behind me.
Oh my god!
You know what? I can't believe that you would actually try to go through all the art, because I think I might have done it the first year or so when it was new. But after that, like this weekend, all I did was I just did my keywords, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because I had a lot of them. They added even more too. I think I don't know. I feel like they added
20,
more
right?
recently or something like that. Yeah,
I think you get 20.
Yeah.
So
I found something. Yeah, and then sometimes I just put a character name in there, and that's sometimes I took off this year, but I took off Batman because I put Batman as a keyword. So when you do that, like, you get so many notifications. I'm like, I'm just taking that off because I just get too much garbage.
So let's use this number, and I appreciate you putting that in there, Mike, because I was curious as to what it was. I was using the number 7,500. Which, the extra 39 it wouldn't make a difference, right? But when I last checked a couple hours back, there was something in the neighborhood of, I think it was, I don't know, let's make it up, 563 pieces sold. Let's divide that to 75.39 for a sell-through percentage of just under 7.5%. I feel that's a low number. I've said it many times, for dealer art drops, Felix Liu notwithstanding, anywhere from 5 to 20% sell-through percentage in the first 24 to 48 hours is kind of normal. 5 being low, though, on the low side, 20 being kind of starting to get pretty good. 10 to 15 being kind of like average. And I see this as kind of like a super gigantic art drop, right? Over a weekend. And the fact that, I don't know, you can look at it two ways. The fact that 7.5% sell-through percentage out of 7,500 pieces, I guess you could say, well, that's a lot of pieces that sold. We sold 500 whatever pieces. So, and from that respect, it sounds good. But at the same time, I feel like the percentage is still very low. And to me, that makes me feel maybe that's a sign that it is too overwhelming, that there is too much stuff for people to go through. Like, you two guys clearly are stating that you will not do what I did, right?
Yeah.
After you're searching, like, you're not going to start going page after page to try to look through all the inventory, right?
No, I kind of trust my keywords, and I might switch them around a little bit, but I trust my keywords. And then, like you did, there might be a couple more words that I think of, or searches I want to do, or artists or something like that. But it's just, like you said, it's overwhelming. So I just have to trust that whatever pops up is mostly what I'm looking for. And if there was some oddity under a weird name and so my keywords didn't catch it, it just wasn't meant to be.
Okay. No, that's good. Listen, I think
otherwise you'll go crazy thinking, oh my God, there's something out there that I don't know. What if it was, what if they misspelled Batman, and I didn't spell it right?
I know. There's so many ways you can drive yourself crazy with this shit. Like, you know that. Yeah, there's so many, not just one. Hey, Sean, what's up, buddy? Sean, and by the way, Sean and Hyder, it's an open invitation. If you want to pop in and give us your thoughts or whatever at any time, you can pop in. The key to the studio is in the description. Just putting it out there, no pressure. Stay as long as you want or as short as you want. But yeah, like that's the thing is like, yes, I drove myself crazy. Like thank God I finally said after 30 pages and several hours, right? Like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't. This is like it's driving me nuts, you know? And you know what the other thing is? The other reason that doing that is actually bad? Like it's good for the sellers because if they have more people trying to look at everything, you know, there's a chance they'll sell more, right? But as a collector, from our point of view, it's bad because this is something that has happened where I look through everything over 2 days. I'll go through everything, right? And then what I do is I also later go and I check the sold stuff, right? Let me look at everything that's sold. And what happens is, okay, so I'll do a sold stuff search. I'll see everything, right? Then I will start to look through all the available inventory. And as I get to the end of that, let me go back to the sold stuff and let's see what else has sold. And I'll go in there and suddenly I'll see something that's sold that I never noticed before, which means it had to have been available while I was looking at the available stuff. But because it takes hours to look through it all, it ended up selling before I got to it. Exactly. Yeah. Right? So that's what kills me is that even when I'm willing to take the time to do that craziness, I still end up paying for it. It still sucks, you know?
Right.
I still end up losing on stuff because, yeah, it just takes so long to look at everything. So, yeah.
And I took that into account when the fact that I'd seen something that I liked, and I was like, okay, well, don't spend too much time because I also bought it in just the you know that early time when the premium members could buy, and that's usually how I get my pieces. I buy within that. What is that? 2 hours? It's 2 hours, I think, right?
Yeah, you get 2 hours before the rest. Yeah.
Oh. That's when I've always bought because more is available. Less eyes are on it, right? And I took advantage of that.
I thought it was 1 hour. Wasn't it always 1 hour?
It starts.
I think it's 2.
Premium starts at 11, and then the general show opens at 1.
1. Yeah.
Oh, isn't there something at 12 for some kind of members? No. No.
No.
Okay, so it's always been 2 hours then. Okay, my mistake. Yeah.
So Shaun says, I pulled the trigger this time. Yeah, you know, like within that first 2 hours, I was like, you know what? Before people jump on here, I'm just going to buy this now.
Yeah, that makes sense though. That you would find it. Because if you're tuning in the first couple of hours at the beginning, right, it makes sense because if you're using your saved searches, right, well, the chances are pretty good that you're probably gonna, if you find something, it's gonna be from your saved searches, right, your main stuff that you look for, and it shouldn't really take you 2 hours to look at what's available from your saved searches. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I think it makes sense that for those of us who use saved searches, you're more likely that if you find something to buy, it's probably coming in those early 2 hours, you know? Look at Shaun. He's like a crazy man. He looked through most of the art and he said it was fun. And you bought 3 pieces. So good for you, Shaun. What's up? Look at several hundred pieces. See, like me. Oh, sure. No. I went through several thousand. You went through several hundred. Okay. At some point, you just have to tap out. Yeah, the most interesting thing I saw was a piece that traded away a few years ago being listed for $6. That happens. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, if you have discipline, you can look through all the pieces, but I don't have great discipline. So if I'm scrolling through, I'm going to go down some rabbit hole of, well, that's a really cool piece that I didn't need, but now I've bought it, or now I'm thinking about buying it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Look at Stanley. Capcom was not great. Thumbs down. Stanley, can you expand on that? Can you expand on that? Like, why was it not great for you? How about that? Shaun says, so he bought 1 page on Cap Live and then asked if he had pieces from the want list from the seller.
That's smart.
That's bought smart. The page from. Yeah. And then he had 2 other pages that he wasn't going to list. That's how you got the 3. And you talked him out of it. Yeah. You know.
Well done.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I haven't never thought of doing that stuff. I used to do that kind of stuff as a matter of course, but I just don't care anymore. I'm not hardcore that way anymore. So yeah, I'd rather not bother,
So what's your take on this? And the chat obviously can answer too, but so I saved maybe like 9 pieces or something like that, and none of them sold. So
what do you mean? Oh, you saved. Oh, you hit save on the ones that you were kind of looking at. Yeah.
Yep. Hit save on the ones that you're kind of okay. My search found it. I'll save it. We'll keep an eye on it. So none of them sold. So is that I have bad taste? Is that they were too high priced? Is that just they're not the it piece for anybody?
Well, I mean, without us seeing them and looking at
I know, I don't want to, yeah.
We obviously can't tell if the pricing was an issue, obviously, right? There's no way for us to judge that. But what did it make you feel, though? What did you feel when you saw that the con ended, or, well, it's not technically ended until 10 o'clock tonight, but what, for you, it's ended, right? What did it make you feel? Like, how did you feel when you saw that?
2 things. One was, like you said, I think just the volume is so large. In smaller shows, if there's a X-Men page or if there's a Fantastic Four page and there's only that you're looking for, but there's only 10 of them or whatever out there, you're maybe going to be more inclined to go for it if that's all that's out there. But now with 7,000 out there, wow, that's a lot to sort through, and then your choices are bigger. So I guess it probably spreads it out. The other one was I just thought some of them were maybe priced at the upper end of where they ought to be, and so I thought, it's
you mean like on the 9 that you saved?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were just, and maybe it was just at the upper limit of my price level, but obviously other people didn't go for it either. So I think it was people are more cautious now, maybe watching and kind of waiting to see.
Right, and I think they're waiting for the offers from the sellers too. Now that it's like, as I sent emails out to people and saying,
right.
Like last night, even though I was just on my phone because I was at a friend's house, I'm like on my phone. I'm like, oh, this is not easy to do. And I'm like sending out, the offers to the people that saved mine. I'm saying this is now 10%, or actually I did it early this morning. That's why I did it. 10% less, or this much less now. And I don't think I got any takers on those emails, but sometimes I think people save those because they could still take advantage of them like in a day or two. Bill doesn't close that stuff up for, I think, a few days or so.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember if I was successful in selling anything before that, but I had one guy, and I might have been the only watcher maybe on this page, and because of the way he worded it, it wasn't like a general. It almost like it seemed like it was specific to me. And I said, well, how about, I gave him an offer, but I took like 25% off of what he was asking. I said, well, I'm willing to buy this. I pay this for it. And he didn't get back to me. That doesn't mean he won't get back to me, but I don't know. I was also like, it's one of those things like that. I kind of like it because it's in my wheelhouse. It fits in my collection stuff. But I was just like, yeah, I don't. It's not like the other piece. Like the other piece where I saw it, I was like going, that sounds like a good price. And I didn't have a piece of art by that artist, and I really had no idea what a comp would be for it. I didn't go looking or anything like that, but just based upon other work that I've seen him do, that's always like way more. So I'm like, boy, that sounds like a really good price, and I don't have anything for him. It's in my wheelhouse. I'm like, I'm just gonna commit. Like, I only looked away from it for maybe half an hour, like where I was still searching for other stuff, and then I just went back. I said, I'm just gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Look at Mickey agrees with what I said, that he also feels it's overwhelming. And so he only went with his keyword searches. Interesting. Did find a number of pieces I wanted, but had to limit myself. Okay. Does that mean you bought, though, Mickey? Because I saw that Legion cover. I was wondering, is Mickey going to pick that up for $12.5K? I think it was a Giordano piece or something, or I can't remember. But yeah. Chris Lutz is here. Chris, did I say your name right? I don't know if it's Lutz or is it Lutes? Is it like a Spanish name? Definitely didn't see much moving this time around. Picked up a couple of beautiful Johnny Hazard strips. Oh, that's cool. Don't own any, but I dig them. By any chance, were they from Dave Carlin from Butch Geiss's collection, Chris? So I saw he had some too. And Phillips, oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, we saw that one. Not much sold, but still fun to look. Well, looking's free, right? No, Jason, you have discipline, says CJ. So True Carlos, all of them above, and you misspelled Batman as Batman. Puppy. Capcom had no art I wanted, no art I sold, boring panels. Okay, wow, you're a real stickler today. So no art you sold. Does that mean you tried to sell art, or you're just saying you weren't even trying to sell art, Stanley? Yeah, let us know. Let us know if you're trying to sell art. I'm curious. Honestly, I'm surprised to see Lee upright after Cruel World.
I'm pretty tired.
I'm surprised to see him upright with all that crazy clock noise behind him every 15 minutes.
That just tells I've been on for 15 minutes now. Yeah.
Look, everybody's bragging on Stanley now. Oh, Stanley. Oh, come on, Stanley. Yeah. Too bad, Stanley. We miss you next time around. Lots of nice stuff, says Hydra. Nothing for me this time. Okay. Thought a lot of the art I looked at was overpriced, says Mickey. I mean, you guys all say that. I would say, I mean, it's not like I've been kind of reviewing Cap Live. I don't think I've done it twice before or something. But when we do talk about it, well, I've never really, I've done maybe a couple of shows to based on reviewing it. But we've always kind of talked about it at least a little bit, regardless of what the show that I was doing on that Sunday. And that's what you guys say. What I notice is a lot of you say the same thing, that you find a lot of the art feels like it's overpriced. Lee and Jason, are you in the same boat? Like across the board as a general statement, do you feel that? Is that the feeling you get as you start kind of looking at everything? Or?
I don't know if stuff is overpriced or if it's just going
You're not
up.
Sure it's you.
If it's going up and if it's just starting to get out of my comfort zone, that I don't want to pay those prices for a page, but maybe that's what they're going for these days.
Right.
I feel like some of them are a good portion of them are overpriced sometimes, and even stuff that's like similar to the things that I put up there, they have higher prices on than mine. Okay. I'm like going, oh, that's kind of similar to mine, but I'm not asking that much for it, So I would say probably a good portion of it's overpriced.
It's overpriced, and this. But here's the thing: it's like, so here's my question, because I think. It's not like I have a huge sampling, of course, but I feel that most people, if they were to tell you, maybe they don't want to say it out loud, I don't know, but I think most people, like even when I have conversations with friends, privately, everybody always kind of saying the same thing, like just in general in the hobby, like, oh, everything's so expensive. Like, did you see that? It's so expensive. You see that auction? Everything's so expensive. Oh, you see that guy putting that stuff on sale in his gallery? So expensive. Like, so you know what I mean? I feel like most people feel that most stuff is expensive. So from that point of view, I feel like it's not surprising that Comic Art Live, the weekend, ends up kind of just continuing that trend. But my question to you guys, in the chat or you guys here in the studio with me, is when you know that a show like Comic Art Live, which has got over 7,500 pieces over the weekend, right? Wouldn't you think that that's why the sell-through percentage of like roughly 7.5% is that low? A big part of the problem is that when you're competing with whatever everybody else's pieces. So let's say even if you have 48, right? Let's say you took advantage of all 48 slots and you put 48 in there, but now you're competing with 7,500 other pieces. Like, don't you feel like maybe Comic Art Live, the trend should be for sellers to only try to sell if they have stuff that they feel they're going to put for a sellable price, You know what I mean? Like, because you're competing with so much other stuff, so it just seems like trying to ask top of market doesn't seem to really make sense to me. I don't know. Do you know? Am I making any sense? I don't even know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, but I think the sellers are trying to make their best dollar, and if they start low and then somebody tries to haggle from there, it's not going to work out. So I'm sure they're all listing at what they think is top of market, and then if somebody really knows the market, they'll say, no, how about $1,000 less, $100 less, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Shaun, the pieces that you bought, did you feel I mean, obviously you were happy to get them. Would you say you paid market value, or were they expensive, or?
I thought they were expensive. Am I freezing, by the way? That's the issue we had last time. No. Okay.
You're. It seems like it's you're kind of a little bit freezing, but
every once in a while. Yeah,
every once in a while. It's not terrible right now.
Okay,
at least you're not super. You're not super pixelated like you got last time.
Okay. Anyways, was I happy with the stuff? Yeah, I bought a Legion of Superheroes page. That was the Dawn Star one by James Sherman and Jack Abel.
That was the $2,500 one, right?
I think it was 27
or something like that. Yeah, around that range. Yeah. That was a nice page.
Yeah, I've been looking for one by him for a while, and so the seller had another one that was on my list from issue 231, which I also bought. And then I bought a Starfire Perez Titans page from him, so which weren't going to be on the CAF Live. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it. So yeah. Did I pay market value? I thought I did. So I paid over $20,000. So for all three. So it's a nice Starfire. It's a Starfire pinup from Tales of the Titans #4, that miniseries. That last page was a Starfire pinup, and he had that, so I was really excited to get that.
So was it a splash or like after the story ended, a pinup?
After the story ended, there's a pinup in the comic. The last page. Each comic had a pinup of each person. Yeah.
Okay.
This was I'd been looking for this one for a while, so it just popped in. Just happened to work out for me.
And he had that one. And you're saying that's the one that. That's the
expensive one. That was the expensive one. That was the one he wasn't going to sell. I had to talk him out of. The Legion page from 231. Issue 231 was one of those first issues I bought as a kid that I actually was motivated to write a letter to DC Comics about, but never mailed it. But I still have the letter. So any page from that issue I was always looking for, and I never found one that was a good representative, and this one was nice. This one was actually the page they used for the Legion Archives cover. When they all fighting on the planet.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was happy with it. And, what I did, well, I don't know what you guys did, but I saved probably a dozen. You can push saved on the art images, and then wait for somebody to come later on with a discount, and I had like 12 of those, but I blew my budget on the 3 pages I just told you about, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I looked at everything from like the top highest level amount all the way down 500, up to about 500. When I got to the $500 level, I stopped looking.
And
maybe
Murdoch is just like you. He's in your wheelhouse, Shaun. He bought 3 pieces as well, and he's happy.
Yeah, this is the second time I participated in this event, and I enjoy it because not only do I find things I want, people I network with other people who are selling pages that normally wouldn't, and that's what I think I ran into today or yesterday.
Okay.
I gotta tap out. I gotta go take care of some dogs that need some.
Sounds good. I appreciate you popping in, brother. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I'll be listening still. See you guys.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, and if you have time and you want to pop in again, by all means, just what to hit the link. So.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go out pretty soon too. But I've been checking on my email. Like now, I'm getting offers about some of those pages that I was watching. You know, what I mean, they're sending in those offers, and that's a lot of. Previously, I think I've made purchases that way too. Like, but nothing anywhere near what Sean's spending over there. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, just something a little fun. I prefer to try to keep it even as far as what I sell and what I buy, but what I bought is already twice what I sold so far. So I have to see what happens with my other pieces for sale.
Got you. So Stanley says he's confirming. Yes, he tried selling about 35 pieces, did not sell one. It's tough luck. But yeah, it's there's so many reasons why that could be though, Stanley. Like I say, it could be you asking too much. It could be simply that it's just way too much. It's 35 pieces amongst an ocean of 7,500 other ones. Believe me, Stanley, I will tell you this. Having spoken to so many friends, over the years that Comic Art Live has been happening, I can tell you it's actually not uncommon, even though I agree, hugely disappointing to have to list 35 pieces and sell nothing. Believe me, I'd be upset too. It's very annoying because you wasted a lot of time doing that. But I can tell you, it's actually pretty normal. Like I know many people who said, they tried to sell and sold nothing. They got shut out, even with that many pieces. So, not that that's a good thing or that it's to make you feel better. I'm just saying don't think that you're like the only one who put so much stuff up and it didn't sell. Believe me, a lot of people, same story as you. Yeah. So, but Carlos says that he thought the prices were fair on the things that he liked. Okay, so that's a thumbs up on some of the pricing at least.
Well, I joined late. Did you buy anything, Ruben?
No, nothing for me.
No. All right.
No, shut up. I wasn't selling either, and I didn't buy anything.
And it doesn't cost anything to sell, right? There's no commission or anything.
Nope.
No.
Okay, I don't think so.
That's a nice thing. Yeah.
Not yet, anyways. Not yet. That's a potentially amazing source of revenue that they could tap into if they wanted to, but not yet.
I put up 30 items and I sold just 2. So I try not to spend too much time the night before, like the ones that I put. And to be fair, a lot of the ones that I had up were very discounted from stuff that I've already had up. Like the one thing that I sold quick was something that was new. So like they said, the new market stuff is stuff that grabs people's attention. All the other stuff, I could tell like by views of things that I hadn't had up yet, they got a lot more views than the things I've had up before. So some people were just like, they seen it, they didn't even open it up. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Look what Chris says. Some prices were ridiculous, but most sellers have a come to Jesus moment by Sunday, and then they're wheeling and dealing. I don't know. I certainly didn't try to wheel and deal on Sunday, so I wouldn't know if they've had come to Jesus moments. But I like that though. Alberto saw a couple of cap on it. It will be in a Felix. It will be a Felix drop though. I'm not understanding that.
I'm gonna cut out of here, guys, because otherwise, that clock's gonna go off one more time, and it's gonna be a long time this time. Okay, so
that's all good, man. It's good. I appreciate you dropping in.
Easy.
Thank you. You too.
I gotta figure out how to get myself out of here though.
I can kick you out. I can kick you out if you want. Yeah. I'm gonna kick you out. Oh, there you go.
You did. There you go.
All right, later, man.
And then there was 2.
Oh boy. Okay. Yes. And then there were 2. Christie. I just watched that movie. And then there were none. You ever seen that one?
The 10 Little Indians. Yeah.
Originally. Yeah, exactly. Well, so many different versions, But yeah, I watched the 1940 whatever version. Yeah, no, not long ago. Yeah, right, Marcus. That Legion cover did sell ultimately, which is why I was curious whether Mickey had suddenly jumped on it or not. Find a wall for your Simonson yet, Sean?
Well,
more like a new house.
As you probably know, I went to Walt Simonson's house to finally pick up that big, huge commission I got. And so I was actually on the road up until 3 days ago. I finally got home 3 days ago. That's why I have my laptop still with me. And so when I signed on Friday night, or is it yesterday? Either Bill Cox was doing something promoting the CAF Live event, which I forgot about. So if he hadn't mentioned it in one of his posts on Facebook, one of his little live interview things, I probably would have missed it this weekend. But thank God he said that, because I found, like I said, I found a couple of pieces I really, really wanted. So I was really happy with the event. Not expecting to spend that amount, of course. And the Simonson piece is still in the tube. It's about a foot round.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I forgot that it's in a tube. Oh my God.
Yeah. Still in a tube in my house. I still have to finish remodeling the office space in order to put that up on the wall. We still have to put the hardwood floors in. We have one room left. So it's going to take another couple of months. So it is going to be, and then I got to find a frame. But yeah, it was fun. Met Walt. Bill Cox actually emailed me and asked me if I wanted to do a little talk about that. So I don't know if he's going to get upset if I talk about it tonight. But it was pretty fun meeting.
But he wanted you to go on and talk about like on like the commission. Yeah. Well, yeah. Why not do that?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I even know I already talked to you about it, like a month ago.
Yeah.
So,
But now everybody sees. Now everybody finally truly gets a real idea of just how humongous it is after you posted that picture the other day. You know what I mean? So it makes a big difference. So, yeah. Marcos Higgs. Okay. Collectors need to buy more. No one is buying lately.
I'm tubing.
It's, that's what every seller thinks, I would say, Rick is congratulating you, of course. There you go.
So do we know how the CAF event went? Do we know what the total was? Does Bill know how much he sells? No.
I mean, it doesn't officially close until 10, but I mean, I think he's got totals. I would think he would have totals, by now, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because like my sales, I only spent like $3,000 on something that was listed, and the rest of my deals were offline, so he wouldn't even know about those. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I wonder how many other people are doing that also.
Yeah. Stanley, plenty of people are buying. There's just so much art, though. I get a deal on eBay for Walking Dead last week, $260. Wow, for Walking Dead. We want to buy your art. I was interested in the Parmerter Senior Splash. Too rich for me, though. Alex, it takes a lot of money to get that stuff now. No deals on that kind of stuff, Stanley needs a hug. No, Stanley needs a sale. That's exactly right. That's so funny. Even Alberto is like, oh, that price was too high for me too. Yeah, so that it goes to show, they want top dollar, more than top dollar in many cases, I guess, But yeah, exactly. Tom, tell him, cheer him up if you can. Hey, turn up comic art. I ended up selling one piece and buying two pieces. I'm just going to migrate my no sales to my for sale. Yeah, why not? Exactly. That's a good way to do it, But yeah, so that's kind of fun, though, at least, right, Patreon? It's like if you make a sale, okay, at least it's, better than Stanley, who didn't make any sales. You sell one piece, helps you, I guess maybe pay for the two pieces you ended up buying. So, yeah. To me, that's kind of a fun show when you do a little bit of selling and a little bit of buying now. Feature his booth now. How do you find the guy's booth, though, Marcus? I don't know how do you I can share the screen, but like here, let me share the screen again. Here we go. Share the screen. Okay. How do I can I find the booth from here? Sort by art type. No. All halls. Oh, dealer? Would it be collector? Collector seller, I guess. Yeah. What is Stanley's booth's name, Marcus? Let me know so I can check it out.
Yeah, I can't chat.
Let me see. Here, let me come back to you. You're gonna buy from live in the chat. Yeah, you never know if you can, get some deals going for them. So it had up for a couple of months now. I can see what. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. Stanley, get on the video and do an impromptu claim sale. He doesn't want to get on camera. There you go. Oh,
sorry, buddy.
What happened to you, man?
I was trying to sign into the chat, but I left the screen, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no, don't. Holy shit, Mickey. Yeah. 8 of 30. Oh, man, that's like 832. Yes, just over a quarter, right? So 27% sell-through percentage. That's a great sell-through percentage, Mickey. Wow. Fantastic. Holy crap. Good for you, man. Congrats. That's what I said. Agatha Christie, TJ. Untubing episode. Yeah, that's what you should do. Perhaps what's up, Dwayne? Perhaps they need not split between days. Just allow everyone to post what they are selling Saturday and just deal from there. Yeah, maybe. Talked about it on the show. Hey, what's good, Carl? Evening, just checking in. Hope everyone had a fun weekend. Can't chat too much. Packing up my kitchen, but listening in. Okay, sounds good, dude. Did you see the Latent Monster Society of Evils Secret Society of Supervillain mashup? No, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I don't remember that. I don't think I've seen that either.
Maki says it's good. It's exciting going in, but it could be hit or miss. Well, yeah, it's always going to be kind of hit or miss, I think. Patron, is that Kirk? Well, I think that's Kirk. Is it Kirk? I think, I mean, he uses either that name or a very similar one. Kirk, is that you? And if not, let us know. Search Stanley. Search Stanley. Stanley's booth. We can make offers in the chat. Really good, exactly. Mickey brought the poo-poo. I guess Mickey got the good prices. So yeah, what is it like? What do you go by? Stanley? Are you the one that's like Stanley J? Stanley. Does that give us anything? No, that's just gonna give us Stanley Lau art. Yeah. That's not gonna give us anything. So yeah. I don't know. Collector, seller. Name me something that was in his gallery, guys, if you remember, and then we can find it. But yes, congratulations indeed to Mickey, because yeah, that's really good sales there, man. But yeah, let me know quick, guys. Are awesome. Oh yeah, nice. What's up, Derek? Okay, so let me go with, I believe, Spell Freeze.
Should still work.
There we go. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Stanley's booth. All right. Okay. 36 artworks for sale. Okay. Hello, and thank you for looking at my booth. I really appreciate any considerations, messages, or purchases. Thanks, and have a fantastic con. All right. So he starts off here with some Wonder Woman and Supergirl and all the sexy female characters sketches. Commissions, commissions, that sort of thing, unpublished commissions. Affordable stuff here. Look at this X23. It's almost like a photograph, but with colored pencils, I guess. There we go. And what else we got? Supergirl by Ed Benes, pencils. Uh-oh, look at this one. Tom Derenick. There's a blast from the past. Look at that. Look at that. Leia. It's Slave Leia in the nude. And wow, talk about blast from the past. Derenick from 2001. Yeah, back when it was super hot doing the tonal stuff. There you go. Anybody interested in Star Wars? Leia, topless. It's tasteful, so at least it's not like she's having sex or something, What else we got here? The Jubilee. The Jubilee is really nice.
Still pleasant.
Beautiful colors by Stealth Breeze. Lovely. Love that one.
Damn.
Harley Quinn by the Dotsons. What else we got here? Black Canary Pages by Gary Frank. Wonder Woman by Sandra Chang. We got Showcase 96 pages. First or second appearance of Birds of Prey. What else we got? Some more pinup stuff by Mark Beecham. So a lot of the girly stuff. Supergirl and X-23 Together by Mark Beecham. This looks a bit preliminary-ish, though. Not very finished looking on that one, I would say. You got some Jean Grey here. Another Leia. This one, the same costume, but with the top on by James Martin. Come on, you Star Wars fans, make them happy. This one's 800. And let's see what else we got here. More females. Obviously, you're really into the female illustrations. We know that. We know that now about you, Stanley. Look at that. Wow. Black Widow, Wonder Woman. Look at this Psylocke. That's lovely. I like that one. Look at that. Nice face. I like the face. What else we got? Mary Jane, Ed Bennett's more Stealth Freeze here. Guillaume March. Look at this Catwoman. Catwoman splash. That's a pretty killer Guillaume splash.
I'm gonna try something else here.
That's pretty nice if you're a Catwoman fan. So there you go, everyone. There you have it. A quick look at Stanley's gallery. If you see anything you like, hit him up. All right. Let me get back to here and jump back in here and see what everybody was saying. All right. Search for Leighton. It's a cover for Monster, but is it like recreated though, TJ? Society of Evil style of... Oh, okay. You're talking about like one of these like commission pieces that he does. I thought you were talking like one of his vintage pieces, you know? Yeah. Nice one. Give him a taste of his own medicine, Mike. Oh, overpriced. Live book critiquing. Hey, at least he got a look at, you know, got a peek at the booth. None of the other hundreds of booths got a peek from me, you know. Harrison Ford wants that, yeah. $69 for the Leia. Wow, you're generous. Hunch's booth. Weren't most of these Beechams up on eBay in the last couple of months? I've got no idea. No wonder Marcus wanted to see this booth. On hand exercises. First time Stanley left the show early. Formally requesting you go through my booth piece by piece as well. Stanley wants the show. That's funny. Nice poison ivy. It is. It is. You're welcome, Stanley. You're welcome. A nice piece is just not my thing. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, let me stop the screen here. Share. All right, I'm gonna come back.
Cool.
Feel more connected to you guys.
So while you were gabbing, I was trying to play around with my hotspot on my phone versus my wireless in my office. So on my hotspot on my phone, it seems to be working better.
Yeah, you look a lot better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that from now on.
All this time, Shaun, all this time, I thought you were just some ugly guy. Look at you, so handsome.
Yeah, I had a makeup artist come in earlier. Thank
you. You're always handsome. I'm kidding. But yeah, just as a reminder, people, now that we have 40 of you guys here watching, those of you who came in late, just want you to know that if you want to hang out with us in the studio and give us your impressions of Comic Art Live, just go below in the description and the link to the studios here. We'd love to have you and have you verbalize it. It's a lot more fun and interesting when we can hear you. Yeah. So the link's in the description because it's an open invitation to any and all of you. So anybody, and you don't have to stick around. You can jump in for just long enough to say what you want to say. Share your your thoughts and then leave, or you can hang out if you want. Whatever you want to do, by all means, just do that. So let me see here on some comments. I'm getting a great page. I've asked about if it would be for sale due to the seller needing funds. So that's good. Okay. I hope it goes well for you on that there, Tom. Marcus likes Stanley's animation cells. Or are you talking to Shaun?
So do you think when you push save that the seller knows who is saving the images on their?
Well, these guys know. Tell us again, you guys. Pipe in with chime in, would you? Because so the sellers, if you saved something, the seller can contact you. From what I remember these guys telling me 6 months ago, is that they don't know it's you, or maybe they do.
So it's like eBay. They don't tell you who it is,
or maybe they don't know who it is, but they're allowed to send out a message to whoever did save, right? And it just sends it out to those people who saved, but I think that they don't know that it's you. I hope it's that way, because otherwise, you could get harassed by sellers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
no, you don't know who saved the piece. Just that 3 people have saved. So it's like watchers on eBay. So there's a bunch of watchers, but you don't.
I believe it's like that.
Okay.
I believe. These
have
guys
you ever sold? You haven't sold on Calf Live yet?
I've sold in the past, but it's been a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, but back then, I don't even remember if that save feature was implemented yet back then. So yeah, it might not have been at that time. Yeah. So don't know, but somebody will tell us. I'd join if I could, Ruben. Making dinner right now, but maybe by hour 4. It's not going to go that long, man. It's going to be a shorter than usual episode tonight because it's just kind of talking, and pretty much once you guys run out of things, to say about the show, we'll probably end it.
What was the big sale? Was there a big sale that I hadn't been watching or even knowing if something sold that was over 100K? Did anything sell over 100K?
No, the last thing that we saw was 35K as the highest, and that was a Ninja Turtles Sega Genesis cover art, video game cover art.
That's
for the cartridge.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Video game art. There's a following for that. The guys that are into that, they're hardcore. It's really, really hard to find, hard to get. Much scarcer than comic art. So yeah, the stuff can sell for for sure for a pretty penny.
Well, what was the cheapest thing that sold
this weekend on Comic Art Live? Well, I think I saw, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw $35. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know what? Actually, let's take a look. I forgot.
Sure.
I'm right here, right? So
you can search that? I didn't know you could.
Yeah. So check it out.
I don't want to lose you. So you bring it up.
I'm gonna share. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna share. Here's the share screen. All right. You see me now?
Yeah, I see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, the screen. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Screen. All right. So you go here, search by status, sold, for sale, or on.
Okay, I never saw that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you do sold, and then if you just leave the keyword empty,
right,
and then you do search,
right,
then it gives you everything that's sold. It tells you right here.
Cool. That's so cool.
So it's showing 409. Damn. But it's supposed to be more than 409. Oh, sorry, because I got from collector seller. Sorry. All hauls. You want to do all hauls, Saturday and Sunday. All prices. Yeah. And I'll do it by lowest price. Okay. All right. And here we go. Well, some people take the prices off, so obviously those were not
zero.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Nick. Malvin sold this apparently for $1. I find that hard to believe. Let me see. Oh, free with any new purchase of art.
Okay.
Oh, So maybe that doesn't count. Okay. But $20. A domino piece here.
Yeah,
Anthony,
there you go.
there you go. A sketch by Anthony Pugh for $20.
Oh, that looks nice. Surprised.
And here's another Electra by the same artist. $20.
Just trying to get his name out. Wow.
Or whoever owns it. Was it him? Oh, yeah, it's him. Himself, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's giving it away, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what's shipping? $100?
Domestic is only $12. International,
Okay, yeah.
20.
Right.
This guy's giving his stuff away. Wow. Yeah, look at this. More. That's a pretty cool Spider Woman.
I learned something new. I can tell you that the saved listings from the previous CAF live event are gone. So I guess they go away after the event. Sometimes.
Oh yeah. It removes them pretty quick, you know. Lowest first, highest first. So here we'll see an update on the highest, and it's still the Ninja Turtles here. You see?
Yeah. Wow.
TMNT. So it's a painting just of the head, pretty much, and here down here you can see it's.
Oh yeah, the cover art. Right. Wow.
The box.
Right.
Tournament Fighters. TMNT Tournament Fighters. It was called. Yeah.
Oh, it's not the cover. Oh, it's the background cover art. Wow.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it's just that they really zoomed in on the face, right?
Right.
So that's why. But the painting obviously has the whole head, you know.
Right, and it's Felix. Okay, yeah, I've seen Felix.
Yeah.
Wow,
anyway.
I would have never thought there would be that type of art on CAF.
Yeah, every now and then I've seen some video game art, you know.
Right.
Okay, so Derek was saying they don't know. So there's your answer. Thanks, Derek, by the way, and Mike. So you don't know who saved the piece. You just know that the amount of people who saved it.
Right.
Yeah. Why are you asking, by the way, Shaun?
Because I've been getting these alerts here. I haven't read them yet, but they're all reduced pricing, and I'm not sure if they're specifically addressed to me or if everybody in the who saved it is getting the same notifications.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if I save 12 pieces and 5 of them I'm getting notifications on of reduced pricing, I'm not sure if they were addressed to me specifically or if they're just a blanket reduced price. So I was curious.
Yeah,
I haven't had a chance to go through it. Been busy today. But and you're saying it's still going on?
It's still going on until 10 o'clock. So another 39 minutes. Well, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 7 o'clock West Coast on your end. You know, yeah.
Okay.
Another 39 minutes. But Alberto and Marcus are saying that there was a Mobius piece that was marked on hold for $95K. And look at that, Mickey. So that's why you had a good sell through percentage of 26%. Mickey, you had $50 pages for sale available. Hey, whatever it takes, you know, you got to move them out. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate everybody sharing. No problem. Have a good night, Peter. And did you see any tempting grommet pieces? No. If I did, Stanley, I probably would have bought them. Would have bought something. Yeah, the Genesis device. Sega does what Nintendo don't. There was a tempting Romita Senior cover that Berkey posted, but I don't trust that it's Romita pencils and it's on vellum. Who do you think did the pencils then, Alberto? Doesn't look like Senior to me. How much was it? Maybe I can find it.
Was Alberto the person who bought the Falcon cover by Paul Smith?
Yeah.
I thought I saw something like that.
How about that?
Really nice. Really nice.
Ah, classic, man. What a classic. And a great scan, Alberto. Keep that up, please. Keep making your scans in RGB and that high resolution. Gorgeous. Wow. Everyone who saved get the notifications, Lee's telling you.
Right.
Yeah. Cedar, what's happening, man? Yeah, so everyone who saved them, yeah. Everyone gets the same message. Yep. Okay. More inclined to buy more for reduced prices? Well, you got to make an offer then, Michael. Hey, Cab. register that like, please. Thank you. Yes, everybody, if you don't mind, please, down below the video, on the right side of the video, please, the thumbs up is there. If you don't mind, please hit that. Don't subscribe if you're not subscribed. But if you don't mind hitting a thumbs up, that'd be cool. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. And so roughly 14. How do you figure 14%, CJ?
I think he took the 420 divided by how many people posted. Probably.
Oh, no. Because I already determined that the sell-through was 7.5, just under 7.5.
Okay.
Good point, Marcus. Hey, good evening to you, Yevgeny. What's happening, man?
Oh, yes. I remember
him. Yes, sir. That Falcon cover does rock indeed. And let's all look at that cap cover. Well, tell me how much it is. Can I find it quickly? It's probably expensive, so I should be able to find it quickly, right? By scrolling down or no? Because
if you go highest first, it should be in the first.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yes, thank you, Cab. Thank you. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take more than a second. Exactly. So Yevgeny telling us
he sold
a couple of originals this time around. Big Barda sketch and a Dread piece. Awesome. I love that Dread one too. Very cool, man. Hey, congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well done, my friend. Well done. So let me do that. Why not take a look at the non-sold stuff? So it's for the for sale and highest price first. And that should be, how much is it, guys? Let's see. Where is that?
No.
Is it under 100K?
You got me scrolling. I'm scrolling like I'm the one doing it.
Where is it? Fantastic Four. How much could it possibly be? I'm already down to 65K. I haven't seen it.
Well, what day do you have? Do you have both days up there?
Well, I'm looking at Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Okay. So 6,900? Jeez. That's a lot.
So what are you guys talking about? I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. Tell me how much it is in the chat, you guys.
Yes.
I don't want to look for Romita, man. Just tell, it's easier like this. Tell me roughly how much it costs so I know how. Are you talking about a Romita cover? Is it a Captain America cover you're talking about?
Right, but he said it was on vellum, so it can't be over 50. So I would imagine it's under 50K.
Okay, dealer. So dealer, and then what? Do you put Romita, man?
Well, I don't know if he went by that.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I would just say get rid of Romita, man. Just search the way you have it.
Yeah.
With dealer, because it can't be that many dealers in the top 20.
Oh yeah, just dealer, yeah. And yeah, there we go, 952. Okay, so where is this cover you guys are okay, this one, 42 grand.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that used to be wasn't that one of those record books that you used to get from the library? You know, it had a 45 in it.
Oh yeah.
I think that was one of those issues.
Yeah. You know what this? Okay, so this looks like Romita to me right here, and Giacoya inking. Who does he claim is the inker anyway? He claims Romita's everything. Oh, pencils and inks. I don't know about that.
He said it was drawn vellum on artboard. That would scare me too.
Yeah, this is pretty rough for it to be all Romita, at least to me anyways. His face does look like Romita here, the Falcon, though. Here, this is weak. This is really not good, especially if you're saying it's pencils and inks by Romita. Like, this would have to be a, wow, he really phoned it in quickly here on this one. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah. No.
Is there any paste-ons? Does it say any paste-ons?
I mean, other than the title?
Like the face? Like maybe the face.
Oh, yeah, no. It doesn't appear to be.
All right. I don't see anything but the lettering.
Yeah. And it looks like it's hard to tell. This is supposedly this is supposed to be a vellum cover.
I guess maybe the lettering and the titles. Berkey likes to do that. Put the lettering and stuff on an overlay and put it on top of the original art.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can see the bottom here. There's the line here where it ends.
Yeah, I see it too.
But how come there's no vellum cover? Why is it all white? Like, why is this all white? Like, the vellum would be yellowish, right? Like a tan color. I mean, I can see white out here.
All right.
But why if this is vellum, like, it's just too white to be vellum? I don't know. Maybe it's doctored. Maybe it could be doctored. I don't know, in Photoshop or something. I don't know. But, not a great example of a Romita piece, especially if you're going to say it's pencils and inks anyways. But not to mention, I don't know. It's got more Falcon and Lucifer than Cap. But, yeah, I don't know. It's cool, but
yeah.
The line art is really rough. The lines are really rough. That's why I thought it was Giacoya, because his lines look kind of like, what you see here on Cap's face, on Falcon's So I don't know. But yeah, listen, when you're whenever in doubt, Alberto, you don't buy. That's the thing, right? If you're in doubt, you just don't buy. That's all. Let me jump back in here. You're welcome, of course, Evgeny. Look for Romita, man. Hey, I just jumped in. Black Viper of Dorn. Been a minute. Just jumped in for a quick question. Just put Romita Senior. Okay, well, we already found it. 177, yeah. Seller on Cal has the Digi Pencils inked for publication cover for sale, and he sent an email asking if his price is out of whack. Digital pencils, so blue line pencils and inked. So original inks over the blue line pencils is what you're saying. How would you break down a sliding scale of a pricing based on how much traditional? I can't get into that now. Yeah, there's no time to get into that now. But I don't know. Why is he asking you if it's the right price or if his price is out of whack? Tell him to do homework. I mean, tell him to go look for some comps, Black Viper. Tell him to look for comps, man. Like, that's what we all have to do. That's how those of us who know the values, we know because we go and take the time to look for comparable sales. How do you not know how to search? I'm sorry, Caesar. I'm not a comic art live expert like you. Grade A, same artist does all traditional graphite and ink. Grade B, same artist does digi pencil, inks of blue line. Grade C. Yeah, I can't get into that now. Sorry, Black Viper. What's up, Nikki? Looks like a cane breakdown. You never know. Man. Yeah, sorry, Black Viper. And let me just say, it's not even that easy. That's what I'm saying. There's no time for me to get into this because it's not as simple as just saying, oh, there's kind of like a fixed percentage for B and C versions of A. You know what I mean? Yeah, so Cap Space does not. Looks like a production art. Phone Meta. Really did draw Bellum, but as CJ points out, Cap Space does not look like Romita Senior. Exactly. 7.26%, you are correct. There you go. Yes, you're referring to the sell-through percentage. Indeed. Restoration makes it white. Oh, okay. So maybe he got it restored and then, laid down, I guess. Okay. No, it's actually a color. It's an RGB scan, Evgeny. Yeah. King Nostrils and King Lucifer face, Twist of Cane. Birdo's a savvy collector. Look at Nick's booth. We're not going to do that. When in doubt, pull out. Oof. Use that motto on the loose women as well. I think that's what you were referring to. All right, Corey, have a good one. Thanks for leaving us with your piggery.
Well, he's pulling out.
Yeah, he's pulling out. Perfect. Touche, Sean. I like that. Ruben's only 11 of these. Exactly. You see, Caesar? Marcus has my back. I've only seen 11 of these shows. All right? I'm not a pro like you. And actually, what it is that I guess I rely mostly on my saved searches. That's why. What is Blue Line? Yes. Nick Ruggila, Kaluda. Yeah. So let me get anything else you want to take a look at, Shaun? Or?
Me? This is only my second time ever doing it. So I don't. How many have they done? Are you saying there's 11 of these they've done total?
Yeah. This is the 11th edition of this,
and it's two a year, right?
2 a year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm new to this, so I was just having fun with it. The last time I spent a lot less. I have like a 4 rating right now, right? So 4 rating would mean I bought 4 items last auction, right? Yep.
Yeah, that means the amount of transactions, yeah.
Right. Which means I'll only get 1 this time, and I spent more this time. But no.
Yeah, but what matters is you got the good art, and the best art came from the off-cal.
Yeah, those are my favorite. No, my favorite time. I actually made up a want list. So anybody interested in seeing my want list, just message me. It's pretty selective and detailed, meaning it's not like Daredevil, Frank Miller Daredevil. It's actually like Daredevil issue 174, 175. It's that specific, that type of stuff. And it's all based on my childhood that I recall reading and wanting to draw like. So this very specific. So, and then anything that catches your eye, everybody has that, has that going on. But so far it's been good to me so far.
Well, that's good. That's all you wanted to be.
Yeah, there's one Hulk cover I'm not going to be able to get. It looks like, but I'm going to work on that eventually.
And it's too bad you came in late to the party, right, Shaun?
Yeah.
And by the way, Comic Art Boston saying, "Good to see you."
Oh, thanks. So this was tonight's agenda was just to discuss the auction stuff, right?
Yeah. And just wanted to get people's like feedback and see what they what they had to say about it.
Oh, it is 11. You actually have it written down. The Comic Cut Live 11. I didn't see that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah. Rickster is giving you a green checkbox, man, for their Starfire pinup.
Yeah, it's awesome. In fact, the border around the Starfire image is actually hand drawn by Perez also, so it's outstanding. So
cool.
I've been looking for it for a couple of years now. That's the thing about specific wants is you people who have it aren't showing it. You have to try to dig and dig and dig, and sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Caesar says it's kind of lackluster for him. There were only 2 must-haves on Saturday, none on Sunday. But Caesar, what does that mean, dude? Does that mean you actually acquired 2 must-haves? Because if you acquired 2 must-haves, to me that's a very successful weekend on Comic Art Live. I see that as very successful. If they were sold and you just saw them sold, that's different, right? Well, let us know, man. Let us know. You can't keep that a secret.
Well, let's say I'm a seller. Okay, so what would dictate me? Is there a limit on how many you can post on Saturday versus Sunday? Why would you choose to hold back to Sunday?
It's a maximum of 24 on Saturday and 24 again on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering why people would add to Sunday. Why didn't you just throw it out there on Saturday while everybody still has their money?
Right. There was a time a few years ago when they only allowed 24 pieces total, and it was for the weekend, right? And what some people were doing is they were trying to circumnavigate that by on Sunday, they would swap out some of the ones that they had, right? And put new inventory in there. And because people were doing that, Bill decided to say, okay, look, I'll give you 24 on the Saturday and again 24 on the Sunday. And that way, it's also because the idea is that since it's a weekend convention, hopefully by doing it that way, collectors realize, well, I'm going to come back on Sunday to see if people, what new stuff people post on Sunday. Because if you don't do it that way, most people will attend on the Saturday And then the attendance on the Sunday, there's going to be a huge drop off of at least 50%, I would think. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I mean, I was there Saturday morning waiting for the time to open.
Okay.
So I just so happened to have been up at that time. But on Sunday, whenever I got to it is whenever I got to it.
Okay. So you missed one, Caesar, but you got the other. That's okay. At least you got one. That's pretty cool. You know, it's always fun to get one. Where are you coming back from? Did you go to Japan again? Jet lag. Because you bought a lot Saturday and have to cover it with Sunday sales. That's another way to think of it, you know? Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea.
Was there something you saw that sold that you wish you had tried to buy?
Yeah, just one. It's a minor piece. There was this nothing you'd be familiar with because you haven't been really a reader in the last couple of decades, but there was a big event called Infinite Crisis back around 2006, 2007 at DC. And it's kind of like a Crisis sequel, if you will, Crisis on Infinite Earth sequel type of thing, you know? A Jerry Ordway page, Superman, and I think it was Superman and Golden Age Superman battling it out or whatever, like Jerry Ordway. Beautiful. I just loved it. It was $650. I love those kinds of purchases, you know, like that's like it's not costing me thousands, you know. I love things that I really love where it looks really great and it only costs me hundreds. Those are my favorite types of pieces, you know, because you get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and at the same time, like I don't even feel the money leaving my pocket, you know. Right. So, but it was sold when I saw it, but I also got in late. I only tuned in. I think it was 3.5 hours into the show on Saturday.
When I signed in, like 20 minutes into it, I found a piece that I already sold that I was interested in. It was an Avengers Annual page by Michael Golden.
That one. I saw that one. Yeah. I saw
it went for 10K. I was like, God damn it. It sold. Yeah. It must have sold within the first 2 minutes. I mean, the thing was gone very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And I happen to know, I feel like Stephen Lee, man, if you're out there, Stephen, you need to do a little more homework on the getting comps.
No, he doesn't. He's the guy I bought from. He does not need to do more.
No, I hate seeing people burn themselves, you know. But I also saw, I believe it was him. I may be wrong, but I think it was Stephen, who also had a Cisco Kid strip. That yes, it was water damaged. I don't care. It didn't affect the artwork or whatever. It's not like you saw staining or whatever. It was just wavy. And it sold for like, I don't know, I think $750 or something. And those things now, you know, even in that condition on Heritage, it probably would have sold for like between $2,000 and $3,000. You know, so just like, okay, yeah, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, he's a collector. We chatted for a while, so he's just a collector thing out of his collection. He says so.
You chatted with Steven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, he's the guy I bought the 3 pages from.
Oh, he was the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy you got. I see. So sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
So that's why I don't want him to do any research, obviously, because I've already paid him, thank God. But anyways, he's got some other pieces that we're negotiating on right now, and that are on my want list.
Well,
so you can do research after.
Listen, it sounds to me like you paid the fair price for the stuff you did privately, but the stuff he already had sold publicly seemed to be.
Yeah, he's hit or miss. Like out of the 3, I think only one was underpriced, and the other 2 one was right on, the other one was overpriced, but they all evened out. So his other pieces didn't sell, so it's not like he's underselling everything. So he knows specifics on what his interests are. Once you get out of, from what I could tell from our discussion, from when you get out of that wheelhouse, he's asking you your opinion,
right?
So he's I don't think he sells very often. That's why I like dealing with other collectors, because also I'm asking him what he collects, and he told me what he collects. It's Giffen Legion art. So I told him if I find any, I'd let him know.
Stephen Lee is into Giffen Legion art?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he's got some. So
didn't he? I thought he had some for sale. Didn't he have some Legion for sale?
yeah, I bought the Jim Sherman. He had a Pat Broderick, and I think he had a gift. And he's sending out some of his stuff. He's trying to buy other stuff. So, like most people, you sell something to get something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I don't know. For me, like I said, there wasn't much to report. Didn't buy anything. I wasn't selling. I was, I guess I could say, a little bit surprised because in comparison to previous editions, I feel like, again, I'm not really sure if that Mobius piece these guys mentioned, because it's listed as on hold. So, I don't know if that's going to go through or not. That's 90,000. But after that, the next highest is 35. Compared to previous events, it's low. I feel like other events had like some pieces that sold for over 100, and then like a handful that sold in between like 30 and 90,000. I don't know. That's what it feels like.
There's an auction coming up. Is it Heritage or Comic Link? That has an Iron Man 55 page. I think it's Comic Link. So there's another auction coming up here within 2 weeks. And actually, it's Heritage, actually, because I have some stuff saved there to watch for. But there's so many auctions going on that people are getting more tapped out now or saving for other events versus now. Right. I prefer this one here when you buy directly from a collector who's probably would have cleared that amount anyways at an auction house.
Yeah.
But there are other more high, publicly available stuff coming up at auction right now. I've got a couple I'm watching it, but I don't know how I'm going to pay for it now.
The thing about that, though, Shaun, is like, see, everybody always says that, but there's all these auctions, whatever happening. The truth is, come on, man, let's be honest. For many years now, it seems there's always auctions going on. There's always one auction or another going on. So,
but it's more of the better stuff, in my opinion. Back in the day, you never saw this much good stuff, in my opinion. Either my taste has changed or the quality is getting a lot better. But I'm noticing a lot more stuff that I'm interested in popping up versus 10 years ago, which was probably undervalued. People didn't want to sell because there wasn't any money involved. Now that money's there, people are pushing it out now. And so everybody wants the same stuff, and we're all trying to save up for that and getting tapped out. Don't you think?
Yeah. Sorry?
Don't you think because this stuff is worth more now than it was 10 years ago, you're seeing more of it? It's just like comics.
No, yeah, of course. That's there's no doubt about that. Absolutely. You're right about that for sure, I mean, I think that's why over the last several years, at least in my opinion, the stuff that appears at Heritage every single auction, it's just like a smorgasbord of like amazing stuff that's fresh to market, stuff that hasn't even been seen.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Tons of it, right? Like tons of it is stuff that has never been seen before. So yeah, you how else do you explain that? You've never seen it before anywhere at a convention. You've never seen it online in anybody's collection or on a dealer's website. What does that tell you? To me, that tells you this is all stuff coming out from people who have kept their eye on the comic book / comic art market over the years, but maybe haven't been collecting for many decades, but they own this. They bought this stuff way back then, whether it was in the 70s or the 80s or 90s, hung on to it, but didn't continue collecting after the 90s. But they keep track of it to see what their stuff is worth. And when they see the prices continuously go up and up and up and up, they're just like, okay, I think I'm going to cash out now. I mean, where else would this stuff come from, right?
Yeah.
So,
do you hold back stuff? I mean, is it everything you own on CAF?
Oh, no, definitely not. Have a good night, Evgeny. Have a good one, man. No, definitely not. But that's more a function of I have so much stuff nobody would care about that I don't care. I don't need to put it on calf for me to see it. I can see it in my portfolios, and I see it all the time in my portfolios, you know? So it's just like, why bother? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So no, but in talking with a lot of people, you know, over the years, I can also tell you, Shaun, most people have told me that definitely not. They don't have all of their stuff on cap. You know, a few have told me, yeah, pretty much everything's up there. You know, and maybe that means that okay, there's a few pieces that they didn't put up, but more because of I just haven't gotten around to it. You know, that kind of thing. You know, but most people, don't show everything. You know, for a variety of reasons. You know.
Well, in my opinion, like you were all excited about all the heritage stuff coming up that you've never seen before. It makes, I think the emotion takes over when you see stuff like that versus something that's been on cap forever and is being posted on heritage auction. I feel like fresh to market stuff is where all the money's gonna come from. So, like I've held back some stuff that's an investment that I wouldn't post on cap for that very reason, and I'm sure other people are doing that too. And I was just curious to know if you've done that.
Sorry, did you just say you hold back on some stuff for investment?
Yeah, I have a couple of pieces that I bought for investment purposes that I'm not too attached to that I'll eventually sell someday. But so but what you're saying is because you know why that was the reason you bought them in the first place. Yeah,
you feel understandably in my view, no point in showing it until I'm ready to sell it, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, Comic Art Boston, you know, the auction houses, especially Heritage, appear they get the bulk of the best pages. You know, dealers used to have more of such pages, but now it has become absolutely the auction houses. Absolutely. They've taken a lot of the business away from vintage dealers. Absolutely. You know, but yeah, Shaun, I think that's the right thing. You know, I don't see any reason whatsoever, because there is an excitement about it, about like, you know, look, when Alberto, when he posted the Falcon cover,
right.
That was so exciting for me because I wondered why, after all these decades, it has never popped up. Like, you know, I always wondered, hey, I haven't seen that. You would have figured that would have popped up by now because, you know, most of Paul Smith's X-Men pages have been out there, you know. I figured if that stuff's out there, his Falcon cover, I figured he must have sold his Falcon cover at a convention for $40, probably back in 1985 or 84 or something, you know. So yeah, to see that he still had it, and now, you know, Alberto get it. Just, you know, the first time in whatever 40, 41 or 44, whatever years it is, to finally be able to see it in its original art form, that was exciting. You know,
I agree. And if it had come up at auction, we would all be bidding on it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Absolutely. That would be a very, you know, very, very sought after piece for sure if it had gone to market, you know. I've got a lot of sketches unpublished, not on cap. Yeah, so you've got stuff for whatever your reasons are, Michael, you know. And CJ agrees with you as well. That makes sense, Shaun. Dwayne says, I work with a lady who worked at Heritage, and we talked about comic art. She said they had so much of that stored from way early on. Really?
Yes. I actually, when I went to Heritage auction in Dallas 3 years ago, I was actually allowed to go in their warehouse. So I saw rows of that stuff, not just artwork, by the way, comics, paintings, moon rocks, you name it. Rows. It looked like a Home Depot. It was that tall of a warehouse with a forklift to go up on the shelving and stuff.
Oh yeah, I would have imagined that that's the kind of warehouse they had. That doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. But he's saying
they had stacks of guys, tons of Harvey. They must have bought the Harvey file system because they had shitloads of it. And,
but that's
trying to
Yeah, that's the thing, Shaun. See, that's the thing, and that Dwayne probably wouldn't know that because he probably didn't get into details with the woman. But she says that they had so much of that was stored from way early on. Yeah, but early on, it's not like they own, like the company didn't own a ton of vintage artwork, So
they used. I want to contradict you for a second. They used to be out there actively buying art to resell. They bought an X-Men cover from me 20 years ago. I had the first Rogue cover on X-Men where she's hitting Wolverine by Carl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you had that one.
Yeah, they bought that from me direct for the purpose of putting it in one of their auctions, which was 6 months later. Yeah,
I get that. But don't forget, think about the timing of it all. They only started doing comic art type auctions in, I think, 2002-ish. So, right. So at that time, well, how else are you going to start when you're an unknown quantity in a given hobby, right? And at that time, the hobby is predominantly run by dealers, meaning by run, I mean, the bulk of the art that you can buy, you can get it from a bunch of dealers, right? When that's the case, and you're trying to get into that business as a seller, right? How are you going to do it? Because when you're first starting out and you're an unknown quantity, the collectors don't want to be the guinea pigs that send you their artwork to test you out, to let you test out your market as a brand new auction house. So what do they got to do? They have no choice. They got to go out and buy stuff to fill up the auction with, right?
And a bunch of it.
Right. But they've been doing this now for 23 years. I don't think, other than maybe an occasional piece here and there, perhaps, that they think they're getting at a good value, I don't think they generally are out there trying to buy stuff to fill up their auctions with. I think they get so much consignment stuff already that they don't need to be out there looking to buy one piece at a time. You know what I mean? That's my feeling. I don't know for a fact, but I think that's what I feel it would be the case.
I don't know about that part because I've been approached on one piece they wanted to buy from me direct, which I refused. Okay. I didn't want to do. So, and this is only like 6 months ago. So they still are actively trying to buy stuff to put in their auctions, not just consigning.
Was that reaching out to you through CAF?
No, because not on CAF. So I originally asked them to identify a piece for me. They did. I'll tell you what it was. It was a Peanut Sunday strip. Okay. So a Peanut Sunday, I was trying to get identified. They helped me identify it. Then they asked me if I, consign. I said no, and they said, "Well, we're willing to buy it outright." And so they asked a couple of times, which surprised me. And I still haven't sold it.
Okay. So, tell me though. Tell us all, because if you go on their website, there's a page somewhere there on the site where the text says, consign to us, or we'll buy your collection outright, or something to that effect, So they do say somewhere on the site that they still will buy stuff, right?
But I don't know.
Yeah. But here's the thing. So many years ago, I want to say the late 2000s, somewhere around there, I decided, I thought that they were bullshitters. I thought that statement, I just thought it was bullshit to make it sound good. Like, look how big we are. We'll buy out complete collections. I just thought it was lip service, right? So I thought, you know what? Let me test it out to see if it is lip service or not. So I took a bunch of my inventory. At the time, I was still dealing comic art full time. And I took a bunch of my inventory, I don't know, Animal Man cover by Brian Bolland, John Byrne Spectacular Spider-Man cover, that type of stuff. I tried to get good stuff so that there's no excuse, okay? And I reached out and I said, I saw on your website, it says that you're willing to just buy art straight out. I got this stuff. So I emailed with attachments of all the scans, great scans, and a typed out list of all the pages. here you go, all big name artists, it's all good stuff. What would you buy these for? And the guy gets back to me and he's like, I don't know, like this kind of stuff. It's a pretty good stuff, but I don't know how much this would be worth right now. And it was just like one of those emails. Like it was like to me, it came off absolutely like I called them on their bluff. I figured it was a bluff, just to make themselves sound good. I called the bluff, and I proved that it was just a bluff. But again, that was late 2000s. I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't they make me an offer? Why would the guy come off? Not only did they not make me an offer, Shaun, he literally came off like he was like trying to find excuses why he would not want to make me an offer. Like he just you could tell he just wanted to get out of it, And so that's why to me it's weird that I hear that, they offered to buy something from you a couple of times,
I talked to one of their appraiser guys. They're not on commission; they're actually salaried employees. So their salary doesn't depend on the items they're buying, which I'd always been curious about. So maybe they just thought they weren't familiar with the values of the stuff that you were offering. Is what my guess is. There was enough history on peanut sundaes for them to know what the hell they were doing. And
right.
Maybe not enough history on the artwork that you were trying to sell them.
Right.
That's my only guess. And no, there was no sales preview.
That's a good one. Nice, Mike. Mike, are you still packing art from your sales today? You want to jump in and talk to us about how the show went? It's up to you. Offer's still out there. Anybody else, by the way, who's listening, watching, if you want to jump in, hey, Dwayne's a pain. Come on, don't be shy. Nobody's ever met you before, man. Jump in. The link is in the the description of this video down below. The link to get into the studio here and hang out with us a bit is there. So anybody, the offer stands to anybody. If you got any stories to tell us about, well, we got off track here a little bit with the heritage thing, but if you want to share your experiences about Comic Art Live this weekend, otherwise we're probably going to come to a close here. And by the way, I wanted to say, Tom, that heritage and prop store call you a lot, to sell your props, your movie props, but that's different. It's never been as big of a market, so it's tougher to get stuff, obviously, so it's I could see they'd be more desperately in need of props than stuff like comics and comic art, and just made my last minute offer. On who? To who? I feel they need to make commission or a great bonus when they are the first in line to get collections. Have to give stake in the game to these people or they can mess up big money deals. I sold another page. And you sold another page since you were on in the studio in the last hourly? Wow.
He must have accepted Marcus's offer.
That must be the...
You guys can do it here in the chat. You don't need to go on CAF.
And of course, you blew the money on another one. Of course, Lee. And so Comic Art Boston says, nowadays, at least, I think that Heritage are serious about purchasing what they consider are winners. They are very savvy. Well, I mean, but you could say that for anything. But the thing is, you have to remember, Cap, it's so different for them to buy stuff, right? In the sense that they're buying not to resell, they're buying to auction off, right? So it's kind of like they have to think of it in such a different way than any of the rest of us, in the sense that, okay, if they're the auction house and they own the piece that they are auctioning, all right, they have that factor to consider that, hey, maybe the price doesn't even hit what they paid for it. And so they lose a little bit of money there, right? But they don't have to pay, fees or whatever, seller fee, buyer fee, and all that, because they own it. They own the art and the auction. and the house itself. So I don't know. It's kind of weird for them to do it, but yeah, I would think that because of the risk factor of the auction process, I would think that they wouldn't really pay very good offers. Like they would be, my guess, and it's just a guess, but my guess is that it would be even below the fair market value range. So you got the low and the high, which is, the fair range. My guess is that they would come in and go even below the low end of fair market value, because it's just too much risk, it seems to me. And like I say, they have so many people offering them stuff, consignments and stuff. And I don't know if it's true, if what Dwayne's opinion says is true, that they bought collections early on and they still have. I find it hard to believe that they would still have, other than that Harvey stuff that you mentioned, Shaun, because it's not a great seller. But superhero stuff, I don't believe that they're still holding vintage superhero artwork that they've been holding for decades. I don't believe that at all. Like, they need always to constantly fill out auctions multiple times per year, plus the 52 weekly ones. I firmly believe there's a huge turnover. I don't think they're sitting on any stock. If they're sitting on anything, maybe they're sitting on a few random pieces that they still do try to buy here and there. But I don't think they have a huge cache of vintage art that they've been sitting on for a long time. I find that very hard to believe. But what would you think, Shaun?
Well, if let's say I or you own this auction house and you need to anchor pieces to high tide lifts all boats, so you need some type of money grabber or attention grabber to get people to come to your auction, so that when they don't get it, they'll bid on something else that's there. So you need some anchor pieces. So my guess is they probably got a bunch of those over the years that they've been holding back, that they know are going to go up. If I could afford to be holding on to action ones, I would, and then, and not put them all in one auction. You'd just be, trickling them out over the years. Maybe they've got some art pieces like that. I'm not privy to any of that information. I'm just speculating that they're holding on to some potential high-end original art pieces that they'll eventually release when people aren't submitting high-end stuff. So maybe they're holding back some just for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what these guys are talking about. That I hear we are giving away a gold back with purchases or something. They are prepping 60,000 or so. Not sure what qualify. I don't know what you guys are talking about here. Maybe it's a side combo. Other pieces, TJ. I don't know about decades, but I can see them curating a heritage collection.
Well, yeah, Jim Halperit's collection.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Rich, hey, Rich. Picked up a few pieces this weekend. None of the pieces listed sold. Sorry to hear that. Hey, Rich, if you want to tell us what you bought, if you want to jump into the studio, you can feel free. The link is out in the open for everybody down in the description of the video. No pressure, though. No pressure. I agree with Shaun. It's not just accumulation for its own sake. Says Comic Art Boston. Hey, it's nice to have you hanging out and contributing again, Cab. Wow, it's been so long since we were able to do more than just hear you say dropping in to just leave my register I like.
Join us.
Yeah. But that's too bad, Rich. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's just unlikely. Like, where would you be getting this stuff? Where would you be finding quality stuff that you're willing to buy for auctioning eventually? Where would you find that stuff? Like, in any kind of a quantity. And I think the stuff is so expensive now, it's so valuable that it just, I don't know. It's hard for anybody, even collectors like who have been around for a long time. It's dealers. It's hard for anybody to buy other people's art at below market value. It just
But
doesn't
why?
really-
Why do you keep saying below market value? It's below market value today, but not tomorrow. So maybe they're paying fair market value now.
maybe
Hold on to it for later. I mean, that's my approach.
Maybe, but then if you're gonna do that, I don't know. That's fraught with more risk, because how long are you gonna hold on to it?
Well, they're one of the guys who set the market, so they're able to.
But but it's business, dude. You run a business.
Yeah.
Cash flow is so important. I don't know. I just don't see in that business how they could afford to tie up significant amounts of money just on inventory. Just so we could sell down the road eventually. I don't know. I find it hard to believe, man. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I find it really hard to believe that it's worth the time and effort and tying up the money. I don't know if it's worth it. I really, it doesn't feel like it to me is what I'm saying. I don't know. Dwayne says, I will ask her again tomorrow. She named the guy who was said to buy the comic art at Heritage and mentioned it a few times, but said that they had a lot of stuff in the early days. Yeah, okay. So you're talking about the early days. That I believe. I would believe in the early days. That it makes sense. Berkey does it. Berkey does what? Buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and puts it in a closet and brings it out eventually. Berkey has tons of that.
JT, makes a valid point too. You're assuming the market will continue to go up, and of course that's a risk. That's what I'm saying. It has always gone up.
Their business model depends on it. So
absolutely. What's up, Richie?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Is my
mic
working okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I was getting a feedback with having two windows open for a sec, but
how's
everybody doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. All right. Yourself? You good?
Yeah, hanging in there.
Good.
The new jobs kept me kind of going to bed early, so I catch part of your shows, but I try to where I can.
That's cool. Whenever you can, man. That's cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
good to see you guys.
I wanted to say, just to keep following up on JT's comment, right? That's okay. So JT, look, the reality is that this market has continuously gone up since the beginning, since forever. Okay, it has been a pretty, steady climb, if you will. But my thing is that regardless of that, it just seems not financially intelligent for an auction house at today's prices to go out and pick and choose things that they, want to buy for resale down the road in the future, just on the basis that, because it'll be worth more in the future. It's not enough of a reason to go out and pay fair market value for art. Again, I don't know that they're doing that or not. Maybe they're doing it. Maybe you're right, Shaun. To me, it doesn't seem financially feasible from a business standpoint. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I've done it. I'm a collector. I've been a dealer. I'm a part-time dealer, whatever. It's different, right? I don't own an auction house who needs to constantly have stuff available. I get it, right? But I've invested, right? I bought stuff because I thought, oh man, this stuff's so cheap. I don't know, people don't give it any attention. This stuff's going to be worth more in the future. I'll buy one or two of these or whatever, and I sit on it for a few years or whatever, and one day eventually it becomes inventory. Okay, here I'm selling it now. And I make a good profit because enough time passed, But an auction house has the risk of they don't know what it's going to sell for, right? At auction, you don't know what it's going to sell for, so therefore, are you really going to?
They suspect it though because that's their job. So they have to. I know air conditioning. I'm not buying plumbing parts and speculating on plumbing parts. I'm speculating on air conditioning parts because that's what I deal in. Heritage is diversified enough in other subject matter other than just artwork that they can absorb a missed guess in their other departments. They can go into coins. They can do whatever else they got will help support the rest. But for instance, if you had a bunch of money right now, you're looking to invest in buying AF-15s right now, almost a sure bet they're going to go up, right? So as long as you know the subject matter that you feel very comfortable on going up, that's where you put your money in. Action 1s, Detective 27s, all the benchmark stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe the same in artwork. You know, you're not going to be buying,
You know what? I will say it's easier. I would say it's way easier to do with comics. That I would be more inclined to believe happens. Comics. But because it's got, that market's always got its sort of downs, highs, lows, right? And I mean by highs, lows, when the market softens in comics, the prices really soften. In comic art, the prices don't really soften. It's just sales slow down. But you know what I mean? But because there's no multiples of every piece out there, So that's the thing. It's different. So in comics, you know that, oh shit, look, in the last year and a half, 2 years, ever since COVID, sort of got better for everybody, right? And the dying stopped. Suddenly, the comics market took a dive, and like a lot of things went, like even stuff that you consider classic, even stuff that's classic Silver Age, key issues, like a lot of that stuff actually is lower today than it was 2 years ago, So they can count on that. And they can also count on that, okay, in the future, who knows when the market will get better again, but they also know that eventually it always does get better. So yeah, I could understand you saying, hey, let me invest and put a few more Hulk 181s into my inventory, a couple of Hulk 1s, X-Men 1s, Amazing 50, all of the key shit, Spidey, Action 1, whatever. I think that makes more sense because you can always kind of predict where the prices will go. But artwork is a lot more unpredictable. That's kind of that's how I feel about that. Why I find it hard to believe that Heritage is doing any kind of market buying, like buying art at market in any significant way. Like I said, a piece here and there that they think is undervalued and maybe in the future they're going to make a lot. Okay, maybe. But significantly? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, Jim Halpern's been buying artwork at record pricing. So he must think it's going to go up. Some of these pieces that have been sold he's buying the Frazetta stuff. And so he's setting the record prices, and he must be thinking they're going to go up eventually.
Yeah. But Marcus, by the way, we're waiting to hear what you bought that your offer got accepted on. That's what we're waiting to hear. But that's the thing, is you're talking about Jim. Jim's got a collection, and I'm sure he's got an exit strategy. He's a businessman. But yeah, he's always been, in terms of his collection, I'm sure his exit strategy eventually is to sell it off. But primarily it's long term. I collect it, I buy it, I put it away. And yeah, he's gonna hold on to it long enough that he's gonna make money on all of it. Of course he will. But we're not talking about that collection that he posts publicly. We're talking about claiming that as a company has employees, whether it's Jim himself or whoever, that go out and are constantly buying stuff, putting it in inventory just so that they can have stuff for their auctions in the future. That's what we're talking about. And for that, I find it incredibly hard to believe that, other than the exception here and there, I find it very hard to believe they would do that. It's not worth the time and the effort and the money. I don't know. You think it's happening on a pretty large scale, Shaun? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think they have active buyers going around buying a bunch of artwork. No, I think they're buying selected pieces now. Maybe they were 20 years ago buying as much as they could. But I know that they're backed up on their weekly auction artwork stuff to the point where they mandate you send in a specific amount of value now for them to even consider posting.
In fairness, that's been that whole minimum value thing. That's been happening for years. So in fairness,
okay,
yeah.
But if you submitted something today for them to put in their weekly auction, it would be 3 to 4 months from now. that I know of. I haven't submitted anything, but that's what I'm being told. So, do I feel that they're buying selective high-end pieces? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But you would agree more on my side, like that means it would be more likely that it happens here and there. Selective. You use the word selective, right?
Yeah. Now, yeah.
See. Okay, because so Tom was kind of going with what you were saying earlier, making it sound like, okay, like what Dwayne Zapane said. Oh, they buy collections. Okay, so check it out. So he says, well, if you're buying a large collection, you take off the cream, sell off the rest, right? And that makes money back. I get how that works. But Tom, you're also saying you hold back the cream, which they feel is basically free. I get how that works. That's not the problem. I understand how to do it. The problem is, when's the last time you found somebody in this hobby, Tom, who had a large collection of original art, of good vintage stuff, and who was ready to part with it in one fell swoop as a collection? Like that, it doesn't happen. And if it happens, most of these people, if you find them, it's because they're in the hobby. They have at least a decent idea of the value of the stuff. So it's not like I just don't believe that anybody with a full collection who's prepared to sell out completely is that there's anybody out there with a quality and quantity type collection who is also gonna just wholesale it away because it's, a lot of money. And I also don't believe that even an entity like Heritage would buy a complete collection at fair market value. It's so much money, and a fair market value just to sit on it for the future. It's not, the risk reward ratio is terrible. The return on investment, it's not great. So I just, that's how again, I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. What's your view on all this, Rich?
I mean, the only time you're going to find vintage pieces that someone's clearing out at below market values is usually like a family member. If someone passed away, I've come across that, through eBay or Facebook. But even nowadays, people on Facebook, if they don't know the value of a piece, they'll ask a group, my grandfather passed away. I inherited this. Where's a good place to check prices? And people will point them to, go to Heritage and see sold pieces or stuff like that. I mean, I know a lot of people that have been in the hobby for a long time that are slowly moving vintage pieces, but they're well aware of the prices. And I mean, I've had a couple of people I've dealt with where I've wanted pieces from them for many, many years, and slowly they're selling it off, and they're going to want top dollar for stuff. So I mean, to get a bargain price on something, I would say nowadays most people are educated as far as what it's going for, and if they're not, they know where to go, or they ask where to go to find current values. I mean, all of us that started in the hobby 20 or more years ago, we used to find diamonds in the rough wherever it was. I mean, I even went to a convention in Rhode Island back in 2019. I was walking around, and there was a toy dealer that had artwork, and it turned out he cleaned out storage lockers. That's where he found it. And I found a Perez FF page below market value. He had no idea what the prices were. But those are becoming far and few between, whereas 20, 25 years ago, you used to find stuff either mislisted on eBay or
whatever. Yeah.
You'd find it at a flea market, on a whim or something. But, it's becoming harder and harder to find something.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But you even mentioned it yourself, okay, somebody dies, estate sale. Okay, but how often are collectors dying off, right? And then their collection comes up. Does it happen? Sure, it happens. But again, it's not something that like the way we started talking about this topic, it's you know, it was almost like with this idea that, oh, you know, Heritage is constantly buying. They've got a warehouse full because they're constantly buying collections of artwork. You know, that's what I'm saying is like, no way. Have they ever bought collections? I'm sure they have bought some collections. Few and far between is what I believe. Certainly nowadays, like you say, Rich, most people know the value. And if somebody dies, the family or whoever's, you know, clearing out the estate, they may not know anything about the art, sure. But typically they still know that, oh yeah, my uncle or dad or granddad or whoever this person was, I don't know anything about that stuff, but wow, he used to spend a lot of money. I know that stuff's valuable. I don't know how much, but I know it's valuable. You know what I mean? So at the very least, it'll be a situation of where, you know, they're not going to just, most people, it can still happen, yes, okay? But I think it's still really the exception, not the rule, that somebody with an estate is going to just, whatever, I just want to dump it and let it go for a shitty low price. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to preface to say collections that come up in an estate. I was talking about ones where the collector, you know, they might have bought a bunch of art 20, 30 years ago and then just fell off the map. I'm not talking about like collectors that we all know and are active in the hobby. This was somebody that, you know, they went to conventions years ago, got the pages for 20, 25 pages, whatever, $25, whatever it was at the time. And then you see like years later when these collections come up, it's like a scatter of who were the top artists at the time. You know, there might be like a John Byrne X-Men page in there, but then there's also like Brent Anderson pages or whoever else was, you know, a hot artist, say in the early 80s, you know. But I'm not talking about collectors that are like, you know, very active in the hobby and you know, their families inherit the collection. I'm talking about people that were off the radar, what we want to call like black hole collections. You know, they collected for a time and then stopped for whatever reason, prices, or they went on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, I got good news to report, everybody. The big news of the night. I know you've been waiting for it. Caesar says he's selling his collection to me at $50 a page. Woo! I knew these collections were out there. My ship has finally come in.
See, if you wait long enough, Ruben, it happens.
That's it. Eventually it happened. It finally happened. Oh, that's funny, man. Oh, and CJ said, that's true, Rich. I know a few old friends. Well, it will get Ruben to look at the galleries of the ignored. Nice, TJ. But yeah.
Here's a question for you guys quickly. Do you have friends that you've known for a very long time that are in the hobby, say you've been friends 20 plus years, and you've had the conversation with them that if one of us passes away, I'm going to put your name on the back of a piece that I want you to have? Have any of you guys had that conversation with friends?
No.
I've actually had friends say that to me.
I'll tell you what, Rich. I've had people say things like, you know how sometimes people will joke with you, they say something in jest, but they tend to say that over and over, like, oh yeah, that piece, you know, that particular piece, you know, you put it in your will for me,
right?
And over the years, they've probably said it 20, 30 times. So it makes it feel like they're trying to hint to you that they're being serious, but they don't want to tell you that they're serious. They don't want to tell you that they actually literally want you to agree to sell it to, give it to them for free after you're dead. Like just because you're dead, you should will it to them and not have to go to the family and benefit the family, you know? Yeah, will it to me. I've had people do that, you know? And when they say it over and over and over, you kind of like, this guy, I think he's serious. Like at first it's a joke. You've said it many, many times over the years now. I'm feeling like you really expect me to give you that thing for free. It's worth thousands. Like
I'm not talking about people saying they want one of my pieces. I'm talking about people saying one of their pieces they want to leave to me.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not like I was asking for it. They just know I like a certain piece, and they're like, once I'm gone, I got your name on the back of this piece or whatever. For instance, there's one collector. I've been asking him for a page for, it's got to be over 20 years. And he always wanted to do a trade. He didn't want to sell it outright. And we never lined up on the trade. Like, I guess he just likes hanging on to pieces or whatever. And he mentioned to me at one point, he goes, your name's written on the back of the page. If anything ever happens to me, my family knows to contact you. So that type of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Not a conversation I've had much myself. I don't know, Shaun.
Twice. I had I'm an old time radio, so this guy named Ivan Curry was a radio star on doing Bobby Benson back in the 50s. So he's still alive. He's 86 years old. He actually has a Bob Powell drawing of Bobby Benson that it was done for him, and it's his likeness because he was the actor for the Bobby Benson radio show. He still has that, and I've been bugging him for it, I want to say 8-9 years now, to the point where he actually wrote me a letter that says, if I pass, this is to be given to you, and he had me email it to his family. So yeah, that was one. And then I have another friend who's over in Michigan who owns a Bob Montana Archie cover, and we've been, I've given him art in the past and for free, and we've done several collaborations on articles, and he's said the same thing. He'd give me this cover when he passes away. So
Okay.
look
what Nick says. So he's done that. He says it's bittersweet. Me and a friend had pages that went together. I guess he means consecutive pages, and said that if one of us passed, the other would get the other page, right, to put them together. And unfortunately, it happened. The guy passed away. So sorry to hear that, Nicky.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Nick.
Yeah, I have no desire to post it. Yeah. It might be a nice thing. I would post something like that, Nick. I'm not trying to push you, but I would tell the story of it, because I like the story. The story behind the art is always the best,
Unless it's really recent. If it's
Nick? I actually would put the scans of both pages together and post them, one scan of the two pages together. Yeah, and I'd give the whole story, and it's a bittersweet, but it's a lovely story at the same time. So I would do that. The family knew about it, and so they made sure it happened. So that's cool. Yeah,
it's a nice gesture, and also too, the memory of that friend lives on through it, because they wanted it to go to someone they cared about.
Yeah. Pam knew it on mine, and well, I would hope somebody knew it. Yeah, for sure. I look at it and cry. Okay, well, that's depressing now. But my favorite puts his name on the back of every piece of my art. And it did not escape my attention, Marcus, that you said that you will be appointing me to sell off all your art. I will be honored. I would be honored to do that on behalf of you. And I'm likely to die before you, but if you want me to sell your art, I will do my best, and I'll send the money to whoever you appoint should be the beneficiary of that money. Let's get back on track here to what tonight's show was about, not heritage. Let's come up our live. Rich, you joined us. So you mentioned from the confines of the live chat that you didn't sell, but that you bought. Did you say you picked up 3 pieces?
Yeah, 3 pieces I claimed. Okay. One was a Garcia Lopez Star Raiders painted page. I've owned a few of those over the years, and I love those pages because Jose not only penciled and inked them, but he colored them as well with Dr. Martin dyes. So from the graphic novel Star Raiders, which was based on the Atari game. So really nice page. It was at a really good price, so I grabbed that. And the same dealer had a Scarlet Witch piece by the name's going to escape me. It was a beautiful rendered piece. By the way, I'm looking for any Scarlet Witch art if anyone's got pieces for sale.
Are you talking about that? Was it Sandy Plunkett? Maybe.
Yes, that's the piece.
You picked that one up? Okay.
Yeah. It looked like a prelim to me, but very nicely rendered.
It is. It looked. Yeah, it's a prelim for sure, but it was nice. Yeah, I was like,
because I've seen another piece that someone had commissioned Sandy to do that was colored and everything was really nice. And I was like, oh wow, I would have loved to have that piece. So this was, the next best thing. And the other piece, I'm a big Gotcha Man fan, Battle of the Planets.
Okay, yeah.
And Jason Schachter had a piece by Mahmoud Azra of June the Swan. So I claimed that one also.
Okay.
So those were my three big purchases.
Chris Lutz here. He had his eye on that Star Raiders page. Yeah. So
sorry about that, Chris.
Well, he didn't say he had his eye on it, right? That means he's thinking about it, right? It doesn't mean you're ultimately going to go for it. So,
well, it's actually funny because I was watching the live video with Mike McCone yesterday, and he was showing off some of his watercolor pieces for sale that were coming up in today's drop, and a Wonder Man piece came up, and I was like, oh wow, because I'm an Avenger collector, and I was like, oh, that'll be really cool. And then someone in the chat was like, how do I claim the Wonder Man? And it was funny. Like at 11 o'clock this morning, I checked on the piece, and it was like marked sold as soon as it posted. So he must have like reached out to Mike between days and grabbed it. So
that's fun.
Yeah, there are definitely pieces out there that multiple collectors have their eye on.
Yeah, exactly.
That if you don't grab it, somebody else will. Oh, speaking of which, there was one piece I saw it late, and I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on it, but there was a Michael Golden page from Avengers Annual 10.
Yeah, we talked about
see that.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I came in late to your show. But,
what did you? So what was your when the moment that your eyes hit the piece? What was your thoughts?
Well, here's the deal. I was at a toy convention early yesterday, so I'm just checking out things on my phone, and it didn't show me initially that it was sold. And I do a search under Michael Golden. I see that page come up. I'm like, okay, I know this guy's had that page for a while, and I was surprised he parted with it, and it was a decent price too, even though it's more than I would normally spend without thinking about for a while. And when something like that pops up at that price, it's like if you don't jump on it, it's going to be gone. Yeah. And I was kind of relieved that it had sold already, that I didn't have to make that decision.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that was a good deal. I mean,
yeah, we were when we talked about it earlier, we were kind of thinking, Shaun mentioned, that thing you would think had to have been gone in those first few minutes, of the opening, right? Because anybody who's got the golden on their saved search thing or whatever, right? It's going to come up right away, and as soon as they see the price, I'll take it. The guy Steven probably got I would say a handful of people.
For sure.
Hey,
yeah,
I'll take it. If it's still available, I'll take it. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. So
that happened on what was it, on CAF about a month or two ago, where Zadok put up a vintage Perez Avengers page at like a really good price, and I messaged him within 10 minutes of him listing it, and it was gone. Like,
oh yeah,
it must have sold within like a minute or two of him listing it.
Yeah, that's what it is. When it's high demand stock. Mm-hmm. Even if it's not a deal, even if it's not and like you said, Rich, it's true, right? Like not everybody can just, even if you feel it's below value, below fair market value, you still may not be able to get it because, not how many people can just drop 10 grand on a whim, let's say, right?
Right.
But yeah, there's with that kind of stuff, that kind of material. I feel like even if it was at the high end of whatever, the fair market value for that page was, I think my feeling is it would still have sold like that. Like Like in the first few minutes, I still think, even at high end market value.
Can I tell you a Michael Golden story for a minute?
Sure, of course.
So through my calf gallery, because for a while there I was posting a lot of golden art I was collecting, and this is before the prices super skyrocketed. Someone contacted me out of the blue, and it turned out it was his grandfather that passed away, and he had 3 vintage golden pages. One was from Avengers Annual 10, one was from Star Wars 38, and one was from a Batman family page.
I think you told us this story on a previous episode, actually.
Possibly.
It sounds familiar, yeah.
So I wound up buying the Avengers Annual page and the Star Wars page from him. And at the time, I felt like the Batman family pages weren't priced in the same range. So at the time, I paid top dollar for the first 2, and then I passed on the Batman page, and then I think he put it on eBay or whatever. But there's a story where it came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it. They were really priced on the low end, and it happens.
Yeah.
And again, I asked him, where did you get these from? He's like, oh, my grandfather had them hanging on his wall. He picked them up from Golden years ago, and he passed away, and I inherited them, and then he was selling them.
When about was that?
I want to say about 10 years ago.
10 years ago? Yeah, like somebody's grandfather. It's weird because, like, I don't know. It just seems like maybe the guy's father, but his grandfather. Because remember, Golden. It's not like Golden's a Silver Age artist. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know how old his grandfather was when he bought the art or when he passed away.
Yeah, that means it makes it feel like he would have already have been like an older gentleman. Well, older. He might have already been like in his, let's say, 40s or something when Golden was just breaking into the business or something. You know what I mean?
These were pages from like 82, 81, 82.
Right.
So that's around the time I guess the guy bought it from him. And the grandson said to me, yeah, it used to hang up in my grandfather's office and I love them. And, he left them to me in the will because, I liked them.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was just one of those black hole collections that the grandfather had a few pieces and they just happened to be, Michael Golden pieces. So it happens.
Yeah, it happens. So tell us, we were speaking earlier about buying and selling and how the sell-through percentage on the weekend, as of a few hours ago when I last checked, was around 7.5% sell-through, which to me, if I think of it as a giant art drop, to me that's kind of low. And we kind of discussed how I feel like it's very overwhelming, the sheer amount of art on these Cal weekends. Mickey agreed with me, finds it overwhelming. And I don't know, like I feel like for sellers, it feels like, because I don't sell anymore. I used to sell. I used to try to sell with a booth. Then I stopped for the last, 4 editions. Because I just felt it wasn't worth my time for the few sales I would make. How do you see that whole thing? Because I feel one of the points I was making was that I feel one of the drawbacks that trying to sell is like, it's funny because it's the same drawback as like it's a pro and a con at the same time. The pro is if I open a booth here, wow, like I'm going to get thousands. I don't know how many eyeballs are going to be coming on this weekend. It's a lot though, right? But at the same time, you're also competing with 7,500 other pieces of art. And so maybe that's a drawback. So how do you look at that? And the fact that you said you didn't sell anything this time around. By the way, out of how many pieces did you have showing?
I listed 9 pieces.
Okay, so that's not a lot anyway. So
and I want to preface to say I didn't know if I was even going to have time to list anything. It was basically late Friday night,
last minute,
because I knew I was going to be tied up going to the local convention on Saturday. So even checking emails was going to be a little difficult time wise. So it was one of those cases where late Friday night, I'm like, all right, let me post a few things. If it sells, great, it's gravy, but I have also noticed too, a lot of people, what they're doing now when they post for Comic Art Live sales, they'll post on Facebook like a screenshot of like a preview. And some people do it in their calf galleries also. So that's one way of getting a little more attention to your pieces, so they don't get lost in the thousands of pieces getting listed. And if I wanted to promote it more, sure, they would have had a better chance of selling, posting it on the Facebook groups and the CAF, my regular gallery and all that. But it was just a matter of, let me throw a few pieces in there. If something sells, great. If not, I'll look on there, see if I can find something, at a reasonable price to pick up. So, like I said, on my end, I didn't really push it further to promote it, to kind of stand out from the crowd. So I was kind of expecting to get lost in the shuffle a little bit. But with the calf live sales also, people will contact you afterwards, because I was checking out all the saves, and there were a couple of pieces out of the 9 that had quite a few saves on there. Okay. So it's not out of the realm of possibility of somebody coming to me tomorrow or next week and be like, is this still for sale? I didn't have a chance to pull the trigger, or I wanted to think about it. So,
yeah, I got you.
Well, do you mind telling us what it was?
Which one had a lot of saves on it?
Yeah.
Yes. The one that had the most saves, I put up an Alan Davis Secret Avengers cover. So that got the most views and that got the most saves. It was a piece that I wasn't even going to list. And then I was like, oh, I've got a few Davis covers. And, if it sells, great. If it doesn't, I'm happy to keep it.
Did that surprise you? How many people over your other pieces were watching that one?
Not really, because I've never made that available for sale before. Whereas some of my other pieces have been in previous Comic Art Live sales. So, it's not fresh to the market, the other pieces. Whereas even though this one's in my gallery, it's never been available. And I bought it directly from Davis. So, I don't know if that's considered fresh to the market. Like I have a lot of friends in the collecting hobby that they won't even put pieces in their gallery because if they ever want to sell it, they want it fresh to the market.
You see what we were talking about earlier, Shaun? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There are some guys that are way over obsessive about that, but yeah, at the same time, I also kind of understand it. Whatever, but yeah.
I mean, if it's in someone's collection, even though it's not online, is that still fresh to the market? I mean,
yeah,
where it is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that term's overused way too much.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
And
it has its place. It has its place, Rich, but it's overused. Yeah. It's people overthink it is what I think. They overthink.
Well, I think people overprice it too, based on fresh to the market.
Right.
Whereas there's a lot of great pieces that have been sitting in people's galleries that have never been available before, and I don't think it devalues them just because they've been in an online gallery.
Yeah. I've always said, it's not that, now it's devalued because it's already been seen. No,
exactly.
It's the opposite. It's that, like I said, before you got here, I was saying to Shaun, I was saying what I like about heritage auctions is that for years, every single auction, there's tons of stuff, vintage stuff we've never seen before. It just keeps coming out of the woodwork for them, and it's exciting. Everybody loves to see that stuff because, wow, it's that stuff was published 40 years ago. Where's it been all this time,
Well, you were saying that before about the Falcon cover.
Oh yeah, about the Falcon cover. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is exciting. So it doesn't. But it's like that's the thing is that these guys are nutty sometimes. Like it's like you say, it's not that. Oh, I've shown it. It's worth less. No, you've shown it. Yes, when you one day put that at auction, it may not get people going, oh, wow, look at that. Because they've seen it before. Sure. But whoever collects that kind of thing is still going to bid on it. And it's going to sell for the fair price, whatever that thing is worth. You know what I mean? That's it. It's just that the stuff that's fresh to market, right? It's like, oh, wow, cool. You're just excited to finally see it because it's never been seen before. But that doesn't also mean that just because you're excited to see something that comes onto the market for the first time, it doesn't mean that the average collector loses their mind and then starts bidding way more than they can usually afford. You know what I mean? So it's not like a guarantee that because it's fresh to market for the first time ever, that it's automatically going to get some ridiculous price. You know?
Well, it depends on the piece.
Well, of course, it absolutely depends on what it is. Absolutely. You know? But I think we can agree that like if it's like some, whatever Marvel cover key appearance of a big character, and it's from at least 40 to 50 years ago, right? Whether it appeared on Heritage today, right, and today it sold, or whether it had been in your gallery for the last 10 years, and then suddenly, oh shit, Rich's awesome piece, his awesome first appearance or whatever important cover, he let it go. Oh my God, it's at auction. People would still be as excited to get a chance to bid on it and own it. You know what I mean? It's not like people are going to be like, yeah, so if that had been fresh to market, that would have been a $50K piece. But I've seen it in Rich's gallery for the last 10 years. I think it'll go for 20 now. You know what I mean? Like that's not how it works, Well,
so that's not just if it's in someone's gallery, but say a piece has changed hands a couple of times.
Okay, hold on now. That could affect. Yeah, that absolutely could affect it. Yeah, absolutely.
I hate to use this analogy, but it's almost like a girlfriend that has gone out with different people, and then suddenly it becomes available to you, and you're like, it's been around the block a few times, so it's not fresh to the market type thing.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like in those examples, it's not so much that it's not fresh to market. It doesn't, because how much, it doesn't have to be fresh to market. It's just that wait a second. What? It's a nice piece. Why have I seen that thing sell 6 times in the last 10 years? Like, why haven't I seen it change, right? Collections. Like, and so it turns you off because you're like, I don't know, like there's this negative stigma attached to it that you can't sort of shake off because you're just wondering, why is this piece? Hey, listen, here's a great example, guys. Great example. Oh my gosh. I don't know why this happens. It kills me. And it happens with great pieces as well. It just happened the other day. At some point in this past week, somebody posted a page from John Byrne, Terry Austin, X-Men, 133, the Wolverine solo issue, Hellfire Club, right? Mm-hmm. It's a great page. Now, I've only ever seen, I want to say 4 pages from that issue, 4 or 5 pages from that issue, 2 of them with good Wolverine content. But this page, and that's what I kind of mentioned in my comment I left them. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how many times this thing has changed hands. When that thing first popped up about 20 years ago or so, I was like, oh my God, not only is it a page from 133, but it's a great page, like great Wolverine solo action, And 20 years later, I swear to God, I've seen that thing at least in 5 different people's collection. Why? Why do people keep pawning it off? Like, you can't get better than that. Like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. But no matter what, I can assure you that each successive owner of that piece has paid more than the last guy paid for it. You know what I mean? But That's because it's Wolverine, key issue, key period, key title, all the whole works, right? But you guys have seen examples where it's not necessarily key or anything like that. Plenty of art you see bounce around here, there, and it'll sell for less. It'll end up selling for, especially if it's at auction. Like I've done that series of shows, right, where it's like Stop the Insanity, right, where I show examples. Me and Matt Kennedy, we showed a bunch of examples of art where people resell it. They buy it at auction and then they resell it at auction, always in less than 5 years' time. And 90% of the time, those examples lose money. I'm putting together a show I'm going to do of the exceptions to the rule, okay, where it's 15 examples of people that resold at auction in less than 5 years, and it still made money, okay? But again, by the time I get that show together, like it's taken me all this time. I've already done 4 shows of the ones that I've shown 60 examples of resales that lost money. And I actually have enough examples of resale that lost money for 3 more episodes. Okay. So that's going to be, the 60, so a little over 100. It's going to be 105 examples. And I'm now, I think, only 2 more examples away from having 15 examples that made money being resold at auction in less than 5 years. So it just goes to show most of the most of the time you will lose, especially if you're not holding it long enough. But yeah,
as soon as you mentioned that, it went off of my brain about a couple of pieces that were offered to me, and it was kind of follow the bouncing ball when it changed hands, and each time it went up in price. So okay. I saw one piece. It was a George Perez Avengers page. The first page he ever drew for issue 141 that was in by Vince Coletta has the beast bouncing through the city, and the agents are like chasing after him with guns. Anyway, it popped up at Philip Weiss auction first. Okay, sold for like $4,000. This is maybe 10 years ago, maybe longer, maybe 15 years ago, and I was the underbidder on it. It went on a dealer site. Suddenly, it went from 4,000 to 8,000 or 9,000 within a month.
Yeah, then I've seen that. I think we've all seen that happen.
Yeah. Then it sold, and then another collector offered it to me in trade, and they valued it at 15. So within a year or two, it went from 4,000 to 15,000. The same page.
Oh yeah.
Just by changing hands.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm sure we can all list pages that we wanted to buy and we didn't, and then it just kept going up in price.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, look what Tom says. I've seen many pieces that have moved to different owners like 3 times already since the last year. You know what really bugs me is when it goes from one dealer site to another, and then it jumps like sometimes doubles in price, and you'll ask them about the piece and be like, oh, it's sold. Did it sell or did you trade it? And every time it changes hands, it goes up in price. I don't quite understand that, but yeah, exactly.
The nature of the beast.
That's true. Nick mentions that there's a Marvel Fanfare Burn Hulk splash that has been in and out of auctions at least 4 times in the last 6 years. Nikki, that's one of the examples I've either shown already on one of those episodes or I'm going to be showing in a future episode. But yeah, exactly. Many examples like that, though,
I had a Marvel Fanfare 3 wraparound cover by Cockrum, and
nice.
I sold it.
Marvel Fanfare 3, you had it?
Yeah, I owned the cover. I sold it maybe 15, 16 years ago, and I've seen that thing go every couple of years.
Oh, yeah, bounce.
To the point where I'm sick of seeing it now.
Yeah, I know.
Have you sold something like that you just see turning up all the time?
Yeah. And you're just like, again?
It just blows your mind when the price keeps escalating.
Yes.
Because I sold like a Travis Charest cover years ago, one of his early covers. What was that series he did for DC? Star or something or other?
The one in the 90s?
When he was drawing like Jim Lee a lot.
Yeah, the one in the 90s, the early 90s or whatever, 94, 92, whatever. Yeah,
yeah. So I had
Dark Stars.
Yeah, exactly. And I had that cover, and I sold it. 20 years ago, and I sold it for maybe 1,000 or a little bit more. And like a year or two later, I saw it on a dealer site for like $6,000. I was like, really?
Yeah.
It jumped that high that quickly.
Yeah.
Well, but sometimes a dealer will trade for something that I'll give you, for instance, Mike Lovitz had a Titans page that I really wanted, but he wanted too much. He traded it to, I think it was Will Gabriel, and he had it on his site for less than what Mike Lovitz was trying to sell it to me for. So I was able to buy it through Will.
Yeah, that's always nice when that happens.
Yeah, because I couldn't deal with Mike. He wouldn't lower it, but by trading it away, because he needed something from Will also, and I was able to make a deal happen that way.
Oh,
so this happened.
Sometimes it works out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. That's you know, we've hit the 3-hour mark, guys. It's about it for, I guess, for doesn't seem like anybody has much else to say about Comic Art Live. Getting some Nick.
Did you guys pick up anything from Comic Art Live?
You missed Shaun's story. He picked up 3 pieces.
I'm sorry.
Not me. I didn't pick up anything.
I was late to the prom.
That's right. That's not bad. Just following the price of eggs. Nice. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, we'll wrap it up. Whatever. But it was fun. Yeah, even though it is kind of an interesting segue. I don't know how long we've been doing this heritage kind of resale segue, but whatever. I guess I'll make 2. I'll cut the show up and I'll chop it up into 2 chapters. Once talking about this weekend's Comic Art Live, and then chapter 2. Go off on a tangent talking about heritage and do they buy collections and art that keeps flipping from person to person at a higher price each time, every subsequent time. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week, peeps. Like I've always been behind over the last couple of months. So yeah, whatever. Just I'll be here. I'll be here next Sunday. So yeah, come back and find out. Yeah, Stanley. No movie chat. I will tell you though, Stanley, I watched, I don't know if it's not a movie. I watched the documentary, Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story. I watched that yesterday, and that was actually, you know, pretty entertaining. I like documentaries. And that was a pretty crazy time in the late 90s with the whole Girls Gone Wild infomercial stuff or whatever. So that was pretty good. For those of you who don't know, those videos, I didn't know. That's what I learned through this documentary. Those videos didn't just have girls going woo. The videos sometimes had they were like coercing these girls into like doing sexual acts with each other. Like they'd get two friends like, oh yeah, show us, and okay, they get them to lift their tops, and then they kind of keep pushing and pushing to see how far they would go, and apparently they would go and do explicitly like oral sex and all kinds of weird sexual acts. And they included that stuff on the videos. You know, it's like, what? And they never used to check people for like, oh yeah, you 18? Yeah. Okay, let's come on in and let's do something. That's how they would do it. So it's kind of like, obviously they ended up getting in trouble way back in the day because some of the kids were under 18 years old. You know what I mean? So now it's kiddie porn, right? It falls under the kiddie porn type of laws or whatever. So yeah, pretty fascinating. Anyways, so I saw that, and don't ask me why, Stanley, or anybody else. Don't ask me why. But I also decided last night, because I'd never seen it before, I decided to watch Valley Girl. Anybody remember Valley Girl?
Yeah, she was doing. Yeah.
Well, that was only in the song, the Frank Zappa song. Yeah, I thought I was going to hear that in the movie, but nobody really. It was actually really tame. Like the worst thing that I heard was like one girl once said tubular, you know, and they said light a lot, but it wasn't as bad as I expected. The way that the Frank Zappa song made it seem like, I gagged me with the spoon and all that whole the accent, whatever, like that.
Totally, for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't really like that. Yeah, it was way tamer than the song made it seem to be, So I don't know if people in the Valley actually spoke the way the song made it sound or not, but this movie didn't make it seem that way. But anyways, it was about 6 on 10, I'll give it. And it was an early Nick Cage appearance for anybody who's interested. And I got to say, not that Nicolas Cage was ever like a handsome guy, but he's even uglier in this. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Was he listed as Nick Cage in the movie or Nicholas Coppola?
No, it's Cage.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Yeah. That means
he had a lot more hair then.
That means it wasn't. That means it wasn't his first. Right? Yeah. What would have been his first thing if not that?
Wasn't he in? Was it Fast Times at Ridgemont High? He was in.
Oh, was that before? That was probably 81 or 80, right?
I don't think so.
He wasn't. He had a bit part in one of those movies, and he was listed as Nicholas Coppola.
Yeah. I remember there's one where he's listed as Nicholas Coppola. I'm actually not following the Diddy case, by the way. I'm very intrigued. I will say that had they televised it, I would have followed it, but it's not televised. So there's just too much information to come out every day. I see these videos on YouTube, like covering it for anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes. Like, I don't got time to do that every day. Eventually, once we get close to the verdict, then I'll just listen to, I don't know, whatever, some 2-hour show on that covers the whole trial,
It's just jarring that he can't dye his hair in jail,
Did he?
Yeah, his hair's all gray now.
Oh, that's true. That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's crazy. Oh my God. I watch crap like that, but not great movies. I watch great movies. I watch everything, whatever. Blade Runner was not great. No offense. Nick Cage. Look at all these Nick Cage fans. Wow. Room prefers that acting over Ford. No, I never said anything about it being good acting. I'm not going through and collect it for movie night. As if. We used to say that in high school. As if. That was very common. Nick Cage going to be John. Oh, I've seen the picture, Stanley. I've seen the picture. Not the face. He didn't change it enough. It still looks like Nick Cage. So it looks weird. Like, whatever. Moon Unit was on David Letterman with Frank talking about the song back in the day. Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah. One of your favorite movies was Valley Girl? What? Hey, listen, I don't mind admitting I watched the damn thing, but you're admitting that it's one of your favorite movies? Okay, now you guys know what to do. You leave me alone. You don't ever say anything bad about me. Now you all jump on Lee, and you tear him a new one telling you that Valley Girl was one of his favorite movies, okay? Nick Cage is related to a famous director. Yes, that's why we're talking about it. Fast Times. Oh, he's uncredited in Fast Times. Interesting.
I don't know.
I'm upset that I never got my invite to a freak out. Yeah. Tube don't fit. You must have quit. It's funny. Thank you for the likes, everybody. Appreciate it. But thanks. Like I said, I don't know what next week's show will be about, but I'll figure out something. Come back and you'll find out. Later in the week when I schedule it, I guess. Guys, don't hang up for a second. All right, stay with me. So I can say bye to you privately. You don't mind? Okay.
Sure.
So everybody else, thank you, and I'm glad you all hung out. A lot more people than I expected. And thank you, Rickster. I appreciate that, man. He used Coppola and then accused of nepotism. Yeah. That's why he wanted to change it. Yeah, exactly. We know, Nick. We know. Good night, my friend. Appreciate it. Everybody else, exactly. Don't forget to catch. By the way, here, Nick is still here. YouTube.com/the EXP, baby. And let's show Nikki. Hey, there you go. There's the fella who hung out with us for a while. It's been forever since he hung out with us. So check out Nick's show, EXP, the Original Art Experience, this Friday and every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, and buy some art. All right. Any last messages? See everyone Monday night for the Frazetta show, says Tom. And thank you. Good night, Lee. Fun. And thank you for participating earlier, Lee. I appreciate that, for dropping in. Yeah, that's cool. TJ, have a good one. And that's it. All right, everybody. I'm out of here. Be cool. See you next week. And as always, go blue.